We all have our favorite players who have put on an Angels jersey. From role player to superstar, unique talents and personalities have peppered the history of the Halos. Tonight, as we continue our celebration of 6 decades of Angels baseball, we hand our broadcast over to some of those favorites. Stories that only a player can tell. Details that only a player can see. We'll share those stories with you. This is the Player Takeover of Bally Sports.
Yes, those faces, those smiles reflect their love for the game, their passion, and all the memories that left for all of us. Yes, it was also Game 2. Angels against the Royals, and we are joined by Angels royalty. GA, such grace, such passion, such style, and yes, a winner of a ball player here in our Player Takeover version for today. An Angel for the ages, Garrett Anderson, multi-sport athlete, 4th round by the Angels in 1990, and he won individually and also as a team, and we are so happy to have him here next to us. Welcome into the booth, Jose Mota, alongside my longtime friend Mark Gubiza and a member of the Angels Hall of Fame, and Garrett Anderson. Let's get right to baseball, Garrett, because you are an analyst here tonight. Shohei Ohtani, when you see this player from afar or from close-up, what really captivates you?
His hitting and his pitching, but more his size and what he's doing on the field day to day on both sides of the ball. It's just amazing to watch a guy that pitches and hits and produces at a very high level.
I mean, what he's doing with the bat and running the bases is incredible, GA, but what he's doing on the mound, so he can throw 100 miles an hour. He has the most unhittable pitch in baseball, the splitter. How would you ever deal with that, 100-mile-an-hour fastball and then the splitter?
I would hit the fastball and try and pray and hope that I don't have to swing at the splitter.
I mean, can you imagine anybody be able to do both these things? You know, you pitch a game, you go 6 innings, 10 strikeouts, and the very next day, the first pitch you see, you hit a home run? I mean, how's that possible?
Well, he's making it possible.
By the way, this is what's coming here, so I'll do my best to get out of the way. Listen to the stories, but boy, I am surrounded by about 30-plus years of Major League Baseball. I'll add my 130 days or two, but stay tuned because Angels and the Royals, Angels try to win this series here with the bats, with the gloves, with the hustle, all after this break. Heaney on the mound for the Halos.
You want that home run feeling? Then step in the box and let it rip. Get ready for the Major League Baseball Junior Home Run Derby, powered by at MLB Develops. Compete locally and swing your way to the 2021 Junior Home Run Derby Finals. Sign up for free at jrhrd.com.
The guys are psyched up for the next Intentional Talk.
Whoa, let's go!
Now that's excitement. Kevin Millar and Steven Nelson. Intentional Talk, only on MLB Network.
How the Angels got here with all the moves they made. They have
Meet Justin Upton. He's watching MLB Network.
Again, the lineup got deeper.
Because that's what baseball fans do.
They're deep. They're deep.
1, 2, 3.
Wake up for a full day of baseball on MLB Central, featuring an all-star lineup of hosts.
Let's rock, baby.
Teeing up baseball's biggest news and stories with a little style.
This is waiting for you right here.
Can we record that?
Joined by a colorful cast of guests all season long.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it does look good on camera.
Word on the street is you can sing.
Not even close.
The fun never stops on MLB Central. Weekday mornings, 10 Eastern, only on MLB Network.
That ball is hit deep into right center field, way back there, and that ball is way out of here. A 3-run homer for Garrett Anderson, and he has stunned the big crowd at Yankee Stadium. That was Ruthian.
Oh, that's hit well. Deep right field. Could this be a record? You bet. 10 RBIs for Garrett Anderson. What a night to remember.
That will never get old as we welcome you again to our player takeover. Jose Mota, Mark Gubiza, and Garrett Anderson. Garrett, do you still get a little chills from watching stuff like that?
Yeah, I do. One thing I do notice, it looks like it's on VHS.
How about against the big unit? You hit that mammoth home run. That had to feel really good.
It did feel good. It was easier to face him during that time later in his career when he kept the ball down.
Let's get to business here with Andrew Heaney on the mound for the Angels. Angels on the field, and the Royals. Mike Matheny with Merrifield at second. He can really run. Good hitter. Carlos Santana robbed of a home run last night by Keen Wong in right field. Salvador Perez continues to hit Angels pitching well. Hunter Dozier finally waking up. It looks like he's in right today. Jorge Soler, DH, homer yesterday. Kevin Gutierrez, a youngster at third base. Michael Taylor in center field. Edward Olivares in left field. And Hanser Alberto, a favorite. I know Mark Gubiza against lefties. He's at shortstop today, batting ninth.
Yeah, he puts the ball in play and hits the ball hard against lefties. Had a little bit tougher time against right-handed batters, but he's facing a tough lefty here today. And Andrew Heaney trying to get that 4th win of the season and his 100th career start tonight. My go-tos for Heen Dog to have it working here tonight is north and south with his fastball. 28 strikeouts with his fastball. He will run it above the strike zone, but also can hit the knees with that 93-mile-an-hour cheese and get some swings over top of his curveball. He's 38.1% swing and miss rate versus his curveball this year. It's an important pitch against this Royal lineup.
Defensively for the Angels, let's start with the outfield. Here we have Upton, Lagares, and Ward. In the infield, Rendon, Iglesias, Fletcher, and Gosselin. The Gooses lose at first base today. Gubi and Max Stassi, outstanding game with a glove with a bat last night. He is a battery mate
and
Andrew Heaney.
He'll get some fly balls. He got a great one out there, a Gold Glove winner back in 2014. His 3 starts out in left field, 19th in center field, 986 career fielding percentage with 35 outfield assists.
One thing we notice about Juan Lagares, and you can relate to this, Garrett, is he glides to the baseball, which tells you he sees the ball well and reads angles well, right?
Yeah, and he's running really well. I mean, people kind of mistake that as, you know, he's being lazy or whatnot. But, you know, guys that have that ability to glide after the ball, and what happens during that time is the ball's not bouncing on you in the outfield. You're on the balls of your toes, your feet, and the ball just, you know, it stays, it's not bouncing all around.
That's a nice play right there with that ball carrying nice and lightly for Taylor Ward. Nice route. Not easy to play at this time, right?
If you're playing left, it is.
Oh, the veteran move on me right away.
There's some sun out there. You know, the sun this time of year takes a little longer for the sun to go down. But no, left field was fine for me when I was there.
Ooh, by the way,
that's a great answer, by the way, Jim.
Oh man, he got me immediately. Man. Well, one pitch went out for Andrew Heaney. That's always a plus for him. And we know that it is important, as you mentioned, with your go-tos, but. You know, there's competition now in the rotation, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah, and you're finally seeing some continuity in the starting staff where they're going deeper in the games and quality starts from it, too. You want to do a little bit better than the guy the night before.
Carlos Santana swings and misses. 0-2 quickly for Santana. 10 home runs, almost 11, and 36 RBI for a very patient hitter. He was brought here for a reason. We know very well, too, and Gary, you can relate to this. He was brought in for that veteran leadership, the ability to take a walk, keep innings alive, and a guy that's been around its you know, season and postseason too, in Carlos Santana.
And it's something else that you just don't see too much nowadays. You have the team going out and getting a veteran player for that purpose. You just don't see it as much anymore.
He was retired 6'3" by Jose Iglesias. Let's talk about a guy like Andrew Heaney. What would you be looking for in your first at bat if you're facing somebody with that style?
First pitch fastball. I would look fastball all night. His secondary pitches for me, his curveball is really good. So I would do my best to lay off of his curveball and take that pitch, the fastball, away from him.
Take a look at what he throws after Salvador Perez steps in, and here's one guy that loves to see Angels pitching. Let's take a look at what he throws.
Take a look at our StatCast 3D powered by Google Cloud. What he will throw: 58% four-seam fastballs, curveball at 22%, and he's around 20% with his changeup. His changeup is going to fade down and away, but his fastball more than likely is going to be that upper third of the strike zone.
Phil Gosselin playing way off the bag. Any ground ball hit to the left side, it's going to be a race between Gosselin, Bubic, and Salvador Perez.
You feel pretty good about that, of being a catcher with all those, especially after last night dealing with 5 wild pitches in the dirt. You're going to feel you're going to win that race.
Big swing by Salvi. Boy, another all-star year for Salvador Perez. When you talk, Bubic, about taking a beating, you had a guy here like a Benji Molina, you know all very well about guys that really took pride in that.
Yeah, he did. He played about 120, 30 games a year, and man, all the foul balls that he would get off of him, I just look at him and say, man, you got to be crazy to do that job.
Carry well to right field. Ward giving chase. He's on the track, and he puts it down for a nice inning. 1, 2, 3 go the Royals. Here come the Halos.
Nerds. Oh, thanks. Well, I can.
No, I got it.
Sweet unholy cobalt. Is Brad's card better than mine? Better sign-up bonus? Better travel perks? Is that how Brad took that trip to Barcelona? Wait, Barcelona? Barcelona?
Steve, I got it on NerdWallet.
Ah. You said all that out loud.
Want a better credit card? We've got you. From the best rates to the best rewards, for all your credit card questions, turn to the nerds.
When we started our company, we simply wanted better sheets. But along the way, we've realized that softer, safer, organic cotton does so much more for the planet and for humanity. It helps your home become a force for good, because home is more than just an address. Home is our soul. Boll & Branch, organic sheets, bath, and home. Right now, try for 30 nights risk-free and get free shipping at bollandbranch.com.
And here in our booth on our player takeover, Garrett Anderson. And Garrett, you got to feel some pride whenever you see that flag, knowing that the continuous team effort was always there for you guys, huh?
For sure, man. We had a great time that year. Everybody got along, and you don't necessarily have to get along with all your teammates, but everybody got along, and we all knew how to take care of business that night. So yeah, when I'm on the freeway sometime when I go by and see the flag, it is kind of nice to see it waving, because I saw this crazy stat the other day. There was only been 15,000 players to suit up in a Major League uniform, and so the fact that I actually have Major League championship is just, the odds are incredible.
That is a beautiful setup right there as the Angels lineup shows Upton doing well leading off on left, Shohei Ohtani DH, Rendon at third, Stassi with a big bat, now cleanup. Gosselin follows at first, Taylor Ward in right, 2 nice plays already in right field. Iglesias, Legares, and David Fletcher as we take a look at Shohei Ohtani on deck, and youngster Kris Bubic, 23 years old, out of Stanford. And he has appeared in 8 games for the starter. He's done a very fine job in the opportunities he's gotten so far from Kansas City. Here's Upton. Stands in at 226, 13 home runs. He shows about, how about that, GA? Huh?
Just the fact that he was batting first, I saw that the other day, and I said, the only thing that came to mind was Joe Madden.
Oh, okay. That's easy. It's 0-1 here to Justin Upton. Takes it outside. Shohei Ohtani on deck. What do you think he's watching from this guy that he's never seen before as he's on deck? What would you be looking for?
I would be looking for a release point, especially being a left-handed pitcher. That because it's a little harder to see the ball on that side of the hill coming out of his hand. So I would just be definitely looking at release point.
Gooby, did you ever look at what guys were doing and type of swings they were doing in the on-deck circle?
Oh,
Did you
yeah.
get an idea?
Yeah, and I didn't like when they weren't on the on-deck circle either. When they were a little bit too close, I didn't really like that a whole lot.
Well, when I was on the on-deck circle, I was primarily on my knee watching. I didn't take swings on the on-deck circle. I didn't do anything for
Really?
them.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't do anything for
And
them.
I asked Gooby that because there's some guys that will look and see if the guy is warming up with an upper swing or with a tomahawk chop to say, I know what kind of pitch he's looking for. So, it's all part of the study, I guess. Good swing the other way.
Garrett, Bubic is a guy that throws a lot of changeups. As a left-handed batter, if you ever look changeup, you're still sitting fastball.
No, I wouldn't look changeup for my lefty at all. It was always primarily slider, curveball. They were trying to just keep the ball away from me. I would think if lefty did throw a changeup, it may end up down and in, which is a dangerous spot for a left-handed hitter.
Yeah. A pretty good pitch right there, down, almost caught him.
Yeah, my
go-to
is really for that, that approach on his changeup is that middle of the field approach, and then jump on one of those mistake fastballs. He's not going to overpower you today. He's 89-94 with his fastball, but he's got a swing and miss changeup and curveball. He doesn't throw a ton of those either.
It's funny you say 89-94, not that hard.
I know. I was going to say that was a good fastball for me.
That was a good at-bat right there for the leadoff hitter who showed bunt, Justin Upton.
I'm feeling pretty good. I might challenge you, GA, that night.
So here it is. I want Garrett Anderson to take me through this piece of hitting. Approach, batter's box for Shohei Ohtani right here. What's going through your mind right now when we say Shohei going on?
Nothing's going on in my mind. It's all taking place on the on-deck circle. When I go up there, I'm executing what my plan is, and I have a run on. Nowadays, they play a lot of shifts and whatnot. I would be trying to hit the ball in the hole between first and second, but that's not the case anymore. I would probably have to aim the shortstop. I could do that. I could make the adjustment and do that.
Here's Shohei, who's been quite patient the last few days. He takes strike one from Bubic. Lefty's only 2 for 22 against this young lefty. That's a .091 average. As Garrett mentioned, there's a shift on the right side with Merrifield covering that hole between first and second. So you're saying any shift situation, regardless if it's third man at first base, you still will be shooting towards that hole.
Yeah, if I was playing in today's game and the analytics said I hit ball here or there, and wherever the opening is, I'm going to try to hit it there. I always had confidence in my bat control and I'm not trying to drive the ball at that point.
You're not?
No, I'm just trying to put the ball in play, a hard line drive. So therefore, I don't feel I'm giving up anything.
Remember this in Boston, and Red Sox doing a shift on you.
Here.
It was here.
It was here.
Okay.
So, yeah, one night they decided to pull Garcia Parra around to where the shortstop is right now and leave the third baseman where the third baseman was. And Derek Lowe was pitching, which he was a sinker ball pitcher, so ground ball. So all I was doing was trying to hit. I hit a ground ball to shortstop. Ended up getting a double. I'm laughing the whole way because of the shift that they put on me. And at the end of that, Garcia Parra walks behind me and said, "I knew you were going to do that."
But you felt comfortable with your hands. You can control the bat and put it where you wanted to.
I mean, that was putting it on a platter for me with a sinker baller. I mean, that's what I'm going to do is hit the ball to shortstop primarily if the ball's away from me.
Mm-hmm. Here's a 1-2 on Shohei. That was a very good take right there, 2-2. Now, in saying that, also for you, Gooby, would you approach the batter's box, close proximity to the mound, or even proximity to home plate to be able to do that? Would you change, adjust, or stay in the same spot?
I stayed in the same spot.
You would?
Yes.
So it came down to what pitch you were swinging at then?
Yes, exactly. Tonight, like where the left-handed pitcher standing tonight, I already noticed that I would love to face this guy because he's standing on the third base side of the rubber, so I can visually see the ball even better coming out of his hand.
That's why I always wonder why lefties do that. I mean, if you're going to take advantage of left-handed batters, you want to be on that first base side.
Yeah, it takes your vision. It makes everything clearer when he lets the ball go.
That's a big hack right there. That's not a two-strike swing deal.
No.
Do that exist anymore?
I don't think so. The games that I watch and the players, and it doesn't matter if you're 5'5" or 6'4".
Gooby, could you read stuff like that though? Like which guys did not have a two-strike approach?
Yeah, you know it. Yeah. There's some guys like a Rob Deere back in my day, or Dave Kingman. Those guys they didn't care if they struck out. I mean, they would have fit in perfectly in the game today. They always got, people gave them grief about that, but they were up there trying to do as much damage as they could. Like
there's damage right there. Shohei, way, Sayo, nada. Where did that land? Just like that. Couple rolls from the top. 2-0 Angels. Shohei, goodness.
That's incredible how far that went. I remember Joey Gallo hit one off of Garrett Richards pretty far up there. And I remember Bo Jackson in the All-Star game, but I don't know if I've ever seen a ball that far up on that batter's eye. I mean, that's way up.
I've never seen one hit that high.
Could you hit a top flight golf ball that far, GA?
Yeah, with a 2-iron.
The metrics, that came out at 111.7 miles an hour. Take me through that swing, GA.
Just typical uppercut swing, and it's something out over the plate. His swing, he got his foot down, and he was able to get the bat head out.
Wow.
That just kind of fell into his bat right there.
And he had to say wow, too.
Yeah. I can't believe I got that pitch.
Oh, man. Wow.
You never forget that sound of that bat either.
Oh.
I didn't even see it when he hit it, but I knew where it was going.
That's one of those ones I never used to watch home runs. I gave up, but I would have to turn around and say, you know what? I helped that one out.
That was 470 feet. You just talk about who? Dave Kimming and Rob Deere, right?
Yeah.
Not because you lived at Gooby, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm in their book, so I can remember it well.
Wow. Well, Garrett, now we are at the age of exit velocity 111.7.
I don't have a reference point for that.
As you guys used to say, that guy hits the ball hard.
You hear the sound of the bat and you see where it lands, and that's all you need to know.
Well, there's like that as number 17 for Shohei Ohtani and 44 RBI. And, boy, he continues to be patient to find some pitches. Gooby throughout the whole at bat. Outstanding takes all the way around.
And they'll start off with the leadoff man. Justin Upton getting a walk and able to cruise around and score another run from that leadoff spot.
Justin wanted to show GA that he's for real, leadoff guy, showing bunt, walking.
I bet you if you ask him, he really doesn't want to drop one down. He'd rather do what Shohei did.
He's just leaning down in the dugout going, I can't believe I hit that ball that far against a lefty.
Well, that is a third home run allowed by Bubic now in 34 innings.
First versus the lefty.
To touch on what you were talking about, Jose, about his approach and how quiet he is at the plate.
Yes.
There is a huge difference between last year and this year. He looks very comfortable up there this year, even with a lefty on the mound. He's not bailing out of the box like he was last year.
So that's what catches your eye the most, his feet?
Yeah, his feet. He's very quiet. He's very still, and the takes were really good.
Take me through it. Yeah, here it is. Look at those feet you're talking about.
Yeah, his foot's down. And the shoulder stays in, and all he has to do is just, as we say, the ball was on the fence. All he had to do is knock it over.
Now, how do you do that? How do you make that adjustment from one year to the next? How do you gain that confidence to be able to do that and get back to where you should be as compared to where you were last year?
And that's all it is, like you said. It's a mental thing. It's not a physical. His physicality is the same as it was last year as this year. And generally, when you're in the bad habits, it's something just bad going on in your mind, and you got bad thoughts. And I think his thoughts are pretty clear this year.
Do as much damage to the baseball as possible.
Rendon hits it hard. 3-2 count. Stays alive. Stassi on deck. You know, one thing, too, Garrett, is your hitting coach becomes a mentor. He's a father figure, but also that daily reminder of what you need to do to stay true to yourself.
Yeah,
in the role that a guy like Jeremy Reed plays, it's so important. Sorrento, John Maley.
In my relationship with Mickey Hatcher when I was here, all we talked about is, Garrett, you don't look like, he said, I'm not the smartest hitting coach, but I can tell you when you don't look like you normally look when you're hitting good. So he said, you go watch some video and just put something side by side and kind of we can figure out what's going on. And that's what the adjustment was. Nothing was going on in my mind. It's just, you know, day to day, there's always tinkering, trying to make sure you're doing the right things every day.
Well, you talked about it in the open. He did not disappoint immediately. Shohei Ohtani, a 2-run home run. Another good take by the Angels. Off speed. Nice job walk for Rendon. We can never say it enough. I mean, that ball launching in the release, and then here's what happened.
Man.
Where does it land?
That sound. I think it was about 5 rows from the top to the next section of seats.
I'm thinking you're feeling really comfortable. You knowing you're not going to get a baseball there, don't you think?
No, you think you're sitting there enjoying your food. The baseball's coming up.
There's no way that's getting up there.
Well, the walk for Anthony Rendon, the Angels so far. Really seen the ball well off of this youngster, Kris Bubic. Yeah, Stassi takes upstairs. Nice game for him last night. Going the other way, big part of the field. We can't say enough, Garrett, about, you know, the big part of the field. What a difference that makes. And for you, Gooby, it's how much tougher it is to pitch to a guy like that.
Yeah,
just staying on your pitch.
That means they're letting the baseball get a little bit deeper in the strike zone. I wanted hitters to swing at something out in front. That was my best shot. If you're out in front, I'm getting soft contact towards the end of the bat or on the handle of the bat. But if you're staying back, there's a good chance it's going to be a line drive, especially as a sinker ball pitcher. And why are you smiling there, GA? Why are you smiling?
You're speaking truth.
Oh, I see you smiling. I'm like, oh, man.
Stassi, 318 average, 3 home runs, 6 RBI. Kohler suffered last night from first inning, making his debut. Gooby, good stuff, the youngster last night for the Royals, but, you know, unfortunately could not make it out of that first inning.
Yeah, his changeup is a plus pitch, but he was overthrown. That's the most difficult. That's a field pitch. If you're rushing your delivery, there's no way you're able to throw that for a strike. If you take that out of the equation, you just sit fastball.
And nonetheless, for the Royals, they have a lot of good young pitchers coming up and already here in this roster.
When looking at this defense set up for the Royals, you would think the way Stassi's hit the ball so well the other way, it's surprising. I'm guessing the data says most times when he hits the ball on the ground, it's going to be that left side of the infield. They're thinking there's no way he's going to hit the ball on the ground to the right side, but he's shown some good power that way.
Could it be related to the guy with the off speeds also? The way he's pitching, expecting to pull the entire time. Well, the Angels are laying out some very good pitches, and Salvi Perez trying to find a way to make him look better. But they're really working on him.
And how do you do that, GA, when you haven't faced a pitcher before? How do you have that kind of patience like that to be able to lay off pitches when you don't even know what exactly to look for?
For me, it was more familiarity. If I've never seen it, I'm not going to swing at it. So I was probably in more danger with the guys that I knew really well because I would probably cheat a little bit more to try to get to those pitches. But when you don't have a reference point, and you can go watch video, but from that side, when you're watching video and when you're in the box, is completely different. So and I know people probably saying he would take, but yes, I would take if I didn't recognize a pitch.
You taking a pitch too.
Imagine that. I probably couldn't play nowadays, right?
Yeah.
You'd be on the opposite side of the chart. 3-2 to Stassi. Angels up 2-0. Shohei Ohtani with homer number 17. Swing and a miss. And he got it down in the zone, got somebody to chase. And that is the first down for the Angels here after 30 pitches already for Bubic. Here comes Phil Gosselin. Good to see him back in the lineup. And his versatility really helping him stay around, and obviously versatility in the fact that he's done a very fine job, especially Gooey when he starts ball games.
Yeah, when you're going against left-handed pitching, he really crushed the baseball. An OPS of 1098 versus left-handed pitching.
Rendon quietly at first base, no threat at all. Here's a breaking ball to strike. DJ Rayburn behind the plate, Adam Hammery at first base, Jose Navas umpire at second base, and Chat Fairchild makes it around for the man in blue. Pleasant afternoon, evening here at the Big A. 72 degrees at game time. That's a pitch I think Gooby overall, he needs to find a way to master a little bit more of that fastball away, at least to show the Angels something different.
Yeah, if you're going to throw your changeup away, you better be able to throw your fastball away so you can have that fade changeup to back that up with a fastball. But if you're not throwing the fastball for a strike, you can just center that changeup in the strike zone.
The mentality for the Angels is make this inning as big as possible. There's another good take. Young pitcher scuffling like this. Garrett, what was the talk around the dugout nowadays?
I just, keep the pressure on him and not let him, not doing many favors and swinging at any pitches. So they're doing a really excellent job of making him work right now. And he's probably still a little shaken up and not wanting to get in the zone because of what just happened a few minutes ago. Oops. So it may take him a little while to get, the courage to come back into the zone.
Can't blame him. There's a strike.
Ooh, he gave him that pitch.
2-2. Dawson does a fine job using the entire field. He's got some extra base power. Royals pretty much straight up in the outfield and slightly to pull. There's like the old pull right here in the infield. Stays alive.
With 2 strikes, Dozier's playing really, really deep in right field.
Remember last night I was talking about Rusty Coons, and he has a chart and he's constantly telling guys, hey, in, out, one step here and there. But I am surprised so far. Dozier's playing in right field. Even though one thing we're seeing tonight compared to last night is the ball's carrying much better tonight. A lot of room for Gosselin. Here's another 2-2. Off-speed hit hard, center field. Base hit. Rendon to second base. Another good at bat for another Angels hitter. And that brings up Taylor Ward.
Also making Joe Madden look good, giving Jared Walsh the day off, giving Gosselin a chance against another lefty. He's great numbers against lefties and lines this one for a base hit. Belt high. You like belt high pitches, don't you, G?
I liked all of them, but belt high was always good, especially belt high with a humpback fastball.
There's Bruce Hines at first base, and Cal Eldred, pitching coach, will make his way to the mound. Bubi, here's the question I had for you before he even came out. As a pitching coach, what are you trying to remind a youngster at this point?
The first thing, I would say, I'm a pitching coach, is, hey, listen, you're one pitch away from getting out of this inning. Just get me a ground ball. That way you slow the game down. If you're saying, you're flying open, all these other things, your mind as a pitcher, you're flying too with them. So you're better off saying something positive like, hey, you're one pitch away from getting out of this inning. Just make a good quality pitch, trust your defense, and you're out of this inning.
One thing that we talk about the outside fastball, but to make that off-speed more efficient, is there a fastball inside missing in this inning, you think?
I think Garrett said it right. I think he's apprehensive about going inside. By the way, I think Shohei Ohtani should get like two home runs on that swing. That ball went too far.
One for sound and one for distance.
Yes. That reminds me of something you experienced in the World Series with Barry Bonds going up those tunnels a couple times.
Yeah.
Huh?
He did it at night.
Yes. That means something, I guess.
It was cooler. The ball didn't fly as well as when it was cooler, but yeah, it's definitely the same distance for sure.
Frankie Rodriguez and Troy Percival pay the price. The Angels
and just watching that from left field is an incredible view. A rocket going out to right field. Nobody moves on the infield or the outfield.
Yeah.
Here's Ward, 0-1 count.
You weren't going to give it. Nobody was going to give it a courtesy step for your pitcher.
No.
Hey, here's an infield almost straight up, guys. How about this? Except for Santana way off the bag at first base. Angels already with a 2-run lead thanks to Shohei Ohtani, 17th homer. There's a pretty good pitch right there.
Kowar had 39 pitches in the first inning last night, 38 already here for Bubic. Both as part of the 2018 draft. All of those draft picks here now.
It's pretty impressive.
With the Royals, yes.
Impressive.
Bubic, first pick 2018, 40th selection overall. Out of Stanford. Down right side by Taylor Ward.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Gubi, it seemed like when I was playing, not to go back too far, but it always seemed like the Royals were always bringing up young players together. It seems like that just keeps continuing trend. It's kind of like their business model, if you will.
Yeah, you have some fellow pitchers. And when we won the World Series, it was Saberhagen, myself, Danny Jackson. We're all 20, 21, and 22 years old coming up together. So we had our ups and downs, but we had had the lumps together and figured it out. We had some veterans around us to help us out.
That was also a fun bus. Right? Were you loud?
Yeah, quite a bit.
And the strikeout for Ward, 2 outs. And that'll bring up Iglesias. Well, visit from his pitching coach, and something happened in the inner half, guys. Nice breaking ball by Bubic. That's already pitch number 40 this inning. He's coming up about him where he knows how to battle it out against the Twins. And still very good numbers coming into today. 2.12 ERA. He's trying to go inside, and Iglesias misses. Iglesias batting 7th, 266 average. 4 home runs for the Cubano and 17 RBI. Angels trying to creep their way back. 500. Start the night at 28-32. The Royals right at 500. 29-29. Hit hard. Right at the third baseman Gutierrez. So Shohei Ohtani as GA and Gubi predicted. Here it is. This one is landing way out there. Enjoy it, Show. You just did it again.
At Home Chef, we believe a delicious meal should always fit your schedule. It might be a make it easy meal kit Monday, or a toss it in the oven Tuesday, or a what am I, a chef now Wednesday. Or even a day that doesn't need a clever name, like steak.
On a Thursday.
Get $90 off your first month at homechef.com. Also available at select stores. Home Chef. Delicious meets simple.
This is cellulose acetate, a plant-based material that's not only extremely durable, but also quite flexible, making it ideal for Warby Parker glasses, which, by the way, start at $95, including prescription lenses. Try 5 pairs for free at warbyparker.com. Oh yeah, about those prescription lenses. Warby Parker glasses come standard with custom-cut polycarbonate lenses that have been treated with scratch-resistant and anti-reflective coatings. Nice. Try 5 pairs for free at warbyparker.com.
Andrew Heaney, a very nice inning for himself back in the first. 1-2-3 went the Royals. Merrifield, Santana, and Salvador Perez. 8 pitches, 7 strikes, or 9 pitches, 7 strikes for Andrew Heaney. Let's make it 8. Correct that scoreboard up there, GA. Talk to your people. 8 pitches, 7 strikes for Heaney. Here's the first batter he faces here in Hunter Dozier. Jorge Soler and then Kelvin Gutierrez. Dozier are hoping, Gooby, this is the beginning of the trend they'd want to see from this guy that they locked up to a multi-year deal back in the spring. Got big time power.
I was looking at his numbers yesterday, 146 batting average, and every baseball he hit was a rocket yesterday. I mean, he wasn't just pulling everything. He was going left field, right center. I mean, he stayed back on the baseball wall. You could see how strong he is.
Hit some balls on the line. Takes outside from Heaney. Heaney. 3-3 mark, 4.76. 11th start of the season already for now the 30-year-old out of Oklahoma State, Andrew Heaney. Nice bounce back last night to Gooby and Garrett about Dylan Bundy. It was a little shaky in 1 inning, but boy, he battled through and got the job done.
And he didn't want to come out of the game, but I think that was the wise decision by Joe Madden with Gutierrez coming up, who hit the ball hard twice against him over, 105-mile exit velocity. They just happened to be at the fielders. And you don't want to take a chance of one of those fielders not being able to catch one of those line drives.
Yeah, you're right. They made some hard outs last night. Foul straight back to our right.
You got me covered here, GA.
Where's your glove, GA?
Where it should be, in the garage.
Here's what hey, who covered more ground? So, Gooby, you and I are ducking and just let them take care of things here in the booth. A full count now for Dozier. Now straight back. He's right on pitches. And it seems like earlier this season, it was a lot of lunging, Gooby, chasing pitches. There's somebody that the Royals really believe in. That's why they locked him up.
He's got the good balance going right now, that center point.
And, again, he's versatile. Upstairs, and he misses. Well, why don't we take GA back to his days? Oh, yeah, in high school, multi-sport athlete, and there he is. Distinct. Look at those biceps. The pro. Huh? Love that. GA, how do you balance everything out with all the sports?
It was easier back then.
Really?
You didn't have to play year-round. Nowadays, they're killing these kids playing, year-round sports. It was baseball during baseball season and basketball during basketball. And I literally went from losing to my first-round basketball to the next week playing my first baseball game. So nowadays, they overlap way too much. So, back then it was easy to do.
And who was your rival back there at Kennedy? I know you grew up in that Granada Hills area. Who was the team it was most difficult to be able to play against?
Well, for me, it was my rival was San Fernando because all my friends that went to junior high school went to San Fernando, but the people that went to Kennedy, it was Granada. But I didn't know anybody at Granada, so I didn't care. But it was always, for me, it was more San Fernando.
Here's Jorge Soler. 5 home runs, 25 RBI for Jorge Soler. Still struggling, has not found that rhythm. And we know he does have going to be big time power.
Now you made him a much better hitter now on a 2-0 count, though.
And you see what Heaney decides to go to. We know he loves his fastball. This is outside.
The one thing that's been elusive for the Angels starters, I mean, they do have a 31% swing and miss rate, which is #1 in baseball, but they also have a high walk percentage. So you end up having that traffic, and already you have a base runner here in a 3-0 count.
There's 2 consecutive walks for Heaney. You're leading out the second for the Royals. Well, Gary, let's go back to your youth and favorite athletes, guys that you looked up to, that forever actually ingrained in your memory or had an influence in you, the athlete and the player.
Oh, Darryl Strawberry, no doubt. My dad brought him to my attention when I was young. He went to Crenshaw High School in L.A. and never watched him in high school, but my dad told me a lot of stories about him. And the next thing you know, he's in the big leagues. And I was like, so I had a face for the guy, and I didn't pattern my swing after him, but the common thing is a left-handed hitter, throws left-handed, tall. Although he's a little taller than me. And a lot stronger. But no, it was somebody that I could identify with, and somebody that looked like me playing baseball.
And those are the days too when we all experienced like, hey, the 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock news, some highlights are coming. Oh, there's Darryl Strawberry. So it's not like you just click on something and go, let me watch his swing now.
Yeah. No, you had to be around the TV for sure.
Did you get a chance to meet him and talk to him about baseball at all?
Oh yeah, when he was with the Yankees, I as a young player, I was told to go introduce myself to veteran players. So every time we got into town, it was a new team and veterans, so all across the league. So I couldn't wait to go meet him and talk about the connection that I had with him, and spend a lot of time in LA where my grandmother lived. So every time I got a chance to talk to him, I did.
Kevin Gutierrez with an 0-1 count, takes outside. The Royals here with a threat. The Angels lead 2-0 thanks to Shohei Ohtani. A 2-run home run after a walk to Justin Upton. And an inning where Royals starter Kris Bubic made 42 pitches, but overall, guys, he only allowed 2 runs. Really bounced back.
That's the thing you worry about, because then you have 2 leadoff walks here. Then the way Kansas City's been swinging the bat, and their slugging percentage is one of the best in the game. So you've let them right back in the game by giving those free passes.
There's 2 things the Royals do quite well, obviously, for the young pitching, but on the offensive side, they're very good against the off speed. They steal bases, and as you mentioned, they slug the baseball. Well, he was looking off speed, he got it. 2-2 now to the youngster Kelvin Gutierrez. Michael Taylor is on deck for the Royals. And this is those innings, where you start thinking it could decide how long you go in a game for a guy like Andrew Heaney. 8 pitches back in the first inning.
That helps.
Step on it, Fletch. Oh, found the bag now, Goose.
The Goose is loose trying to find that bag.
He was a little too loose on that one. It is a double play. Good job there by Heaney, also not throwing his glove at that baseball. It's 2 down.
That's why you always look back as a pitcher where your infielders are set up. It's a much easier double play ball not getting involved as a pitcher. You look back, and if they're not there, then you make the play, but otherwise you let that go right through.
Oh, come on now. Oh, Goose.
Is that the Goose step?
He's very loose. Oh, yes. Something new. We have a Goose step now from Google. Well, Dozier at third base now for Taylor. Swings and misses.
6 double play turn behind Andrew Heaney this year. Known as more of a strikeout fly ball pitcher, that's pretty impressive to get 6 double plays turned behind you.
You know what? Going back to the last road trip, that is a trend that has been following Angels pitching. When you see where the results are going with that too. It's on the plus side. Defense involved, more economical, deeper into games. 0-2 now on Taylor.
Garrett, I was going to ask you this, at some point during it with Andrew Heaney with 2 strikes has struggled finishing off hitters, and you get that data as a hitter. So what do you think the big reason is for that, and what would you be doing as a hitter against them with 2 strikes?
Well, I don't know a lot about pitching and mechanics or whatnot, but from a hitter standpoint, if a pitcher's not located in his fastball, that tells me he's having struggles hitting the corners. So I would be less, you get in those situations, you don't really have to worry about swinging. With him, I think it's just I'm not sure if it's just probably indecisiveness or what pitch to throw, but it seems that it gets tough for him to finish off the hitters.
He finished him off right there after missing on the fastball lane. He got him swinging. So one stranded. Nice double play. Saved Heaney.
How the Angels got here with all the moves they made. They have
Meet Justin Upton. He's watching MLB Network.
Again, the lineup got deeper.
Because that's what baseball fans do.
They're deep. They're deep.
Mr. Smoke, Mr. Smoke.
You, go ahead.
Since signing with MLB Network, you've been very busy. You've done pitching demos, game analysis, and color commentary for live games. How are you able to juggle so many roles as an analyst?
It just comes naturally, I guess.
The analyst of MLB Tonight, answering baseball's toughest questions, only on MLB Network.
That's why he's a Hall of Famer.
Push it down the third base line and end up at first base.
Relax and watch High Heat with Christopher Russo, only on MLB Network.
Nerds! Oh, thanks. It's cool, I can...
No, I got it.
Sweet unholy cobalt. Is Brad's card better than mine? Better sign-up bonus? Better travel perks? Is that how Brad took that trip to Barcelona? Wait, Barcelona? Barcelona?
Steve, I got it on NerdWallet.
Ah. You said all that out loud.
Want a better credit card? We've got you. From the best rates to the best rewards, for all your credit card questions, turn to the nerds.
Sam Cook. A change is going to come. You're facing a pitcher that throws a lot of changeup. And Bubic, so far so good as far as working counts. And a 2-run home run by Shohei Ohtani and scoring some runs in the first inning. We love that change. 4 straight games scoring in the first inning to give their pitchers a little room to work and get out of innings and maintain a lead.
How nice is that, Gooby? I mean, really, for a pitcher. 1 run, 2 runs, 3, 4, it doesn't matter. You have a lead.
Well, you feel so good when that means you're more apt to be able to go out and challenge hitters. If it's 0-0 and you're up there 4th, 5th inning, you're kind of worried about that middle part of the plate because you don't want to be down 1-0.
Here's Juan Lagares, shows bunt, pulls it back. Lagares had a nice day yesterday, a couple of hits. 222 average. 11 RBI, batting 8th. Lagares, Fletcher, and the top of the order, and Upton. As he hits the right side foul ball. So coming into this inning, this trend for Bubic was 13 foul balls, 2 swings and misses. At one point, he had 0 swings and misses. But he really has recovered from since that visit by Cal Alder, his pitching coach. And that changeup, and Gooby, you said it was coming. Change is coming.
And that was above the strike zone too. GA, you know that time when you throw a changeup upstairs, you generally aren't getting that baseball back. But you're seeing that evolution now where a lot of pitchers are pitching the upper third with their changeup.
Yeah, they are. They're following the trend of what the hitters are doing nowadays. So
good swing by Lagares, driven to right field, but there's
missing up is not a bad thing right now.
Dozier puts it away, out number 1. Take a look at you reminisce a little bit. Oh my goodness, Tim Salmon, Garrett Anderson, the Goobies there. Angels alumni, and we are delighted about young Tim. Coach Tim.
Yes,
Salmon. Timmy's World.
You know, I had to dig to find that picture. I only got 1 picture of me in a uniform in Little League Baseball.
That's the only one I got.
That's it.
Me too. And as I look at this 21st ward, everyone's like, well, you just getting out of jail or something?
Groovy, I was going to go, wait a minute. I identify yourself with that. Huh?
I mean, the park I played in L.A., we didn't have team pictures.
No.
Anything. All we got was a trophy at the end of the year.
That's a great smile. Chop by Fletch, left side. Hunter, Alberto puts him away. 2 down. Fletch is retired. He comes again to the top of the order. So in Bubic, well, something clicked, and I think overall getting a feel for a release point. Obviously, the changeup you said was a little bit high.
on the call there to Lagares previously, but for some reason, one thing you want to see from young pitchers, don't get rattled by the situation.
And that's why, as a hitter against them, that's why you don't let them settle down. You want to make sure that you still have that stress factor all the way through. You can't let them settle down from this point forward. You got to start going back to that same approach and using the big part of the field when you're seeing them throw a lot more changeups.
And taking the pitches that are balls.
And we're talking about this with our great partner, Darren Sutton, who is watching this ball game. D-Sut, yes, I know your favorite players here. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, D-Sut. GA's right next to me. But it's all good. But we're talking about the scout's view, okay? The eyes of the scouts, boots on the ground type of thing, right? You're seeing a kid like this pitch, you can look at the line, Gooby, and say, well, he was terrible that first inning. But now you're watching something different as Upton drops it to the gap. Taylor covers a lot of ground, dives and makes a sensational catch and robs him. So we'll get into that a little bit more about scouting with your eyes and the all-time scouting. But 1-2-3 goal, the Angels here after 42 pitches in the first inning. Nice inning here for Bubic. 2-0. Halos, outstanding extension there by Taylor, like a young GA, by the way.
Left-hander who's seen his better days against a team that's got a bunch of right-handers.
Relax and watch High Heat with Christopher Russo, only on MLB Network.
Cliff, how do you know how much bling to wear before each game?
What bling you wear during the game is a very important decision. You want to wear enough so you look good, but not too much where it slows you down on the base pass. Some diamonds are always nice, but on a sunny day, the reflection can get in your eye and make you miss a play.
Thanks, Cliff. Very informative.
The analyst of MLB Tonight, answering baseball's toughest questions, only on MLB Network.
Hey, GA, who better than you to break this down for us, because that was an outstanding play by the guy in center field, huh?
That was unbelievable. I mean, the ball off the bat, I saw where he was. He was favoring pull a little bit, but the amount of coverage that he did out there, and the thing that I noticed was as soon as he hit the ground, I'm like, he's in left field. He's not in left center. He's in left field. He was lined up with the second base bag. I mean, man, that guy covers a lot of ground.
Yeah, that's an outstanding job there, robbing Justin Upton. Andrew Heaney back to work. Angels leading 2-0. Top of the third inning. Yes, our player takeover, having a lot of fun with Garrett Anderson. Mark Gubiza. I'm Jose Mota. Angels trying to get closer to 500. Start tonight at 28-32. Royals at 500, led by Mike Matheny. Edward Olivares, youngster from Venezuela, batting eighth. He's playing left field. Takes upstairs.
GA, did counts dictate where you would play out in the outfield? I know you played a pretty shallow left field, but on certain counts, did you maybe take a step back or a step forward depending on the count?
It was the count and the pitcher. It was both. Like if I knew, for instance, if Finley was pitching that night and I didn't really have to worry about anything in left field. If he had a split going, it was almost like a night off. I didn't get anything. But on the offside, when right-handers are pitching and left-handers are hitting, depending on the player, yes, I'm going to come in. I'm going to make you, force you to hit the ball over my head. During the playoffs in 2005, I got burned on that. It was the year second base Cano came up. We didn't really have a lot about him, stats-wise. So I come in, he's a second baseman. He hits the ball over my head. After the game, all the coaches were like, wait a minute, I got barbecued for that.
Yeah.
All the coaches just took off.
It's like, you're supposed to read that.
Yeah, I'm supposed to read that.
After a nice play in the infield Fletcher. Here's number 9 hitter Hanser Alberto. But you talk about scouting and also the scouting that you did for yourself in watching swings and reading trends.
Yes, in the outfield all the time. I looked at hitters and their swings, and I would knew where the ball, if the ball was going to get hit to me in left, I knew where it was going to get hit. So Jim Edmonds and I fought all the time.
Really?
There'd be a 2-strike count and a right-handed pitcher and a right-handed hitter. He swings over. He's telling me to get left center. I said, no way. They're not going to hit the ball there. I go to the line, and more times than not, a righty's going to leave a soft pitch over. He's going to hit it down the line. So Edmonds and I fought about that all the time. We never agreed on it.
That's a shock with Jim Edmonds.
Well, how about now a quick word from our friends at Jack in the Box.
With triple the beef, triple the cheese, and triple the bacon, my $6.99 triple bacon cheesy jack combo, only at Jack in the Box.
2 quick outs here for Andrew Heaney. He takes care of the bottom of the order. A ground out and a fly out. Foul territory. And here's the top of the order again. Whit Merrifield swung at the first pitch and was the victim of a very nice play in right field by Taylor Ward. And the ball really carried. There's one thing about Whit Merrifield, Glooby, that you have to admire. He knows who he is as a player. The scouting says he loved first pitch, but he didn't stop being that.
No, he's still up there swinging and hitting that first pitch hard. I mean, he took a long time to get to the major leagues, but he's going to be around in that Royals uniform for a long time. They really respect him.
There he goes, off to the races, and that's why we love bunting, GA. He is pretty much a thorn in the side of anybody.
Especially with a left-handed pitcher, so you're going to fall a little bit towards that third base side of the pitching mound. Phil Gosselin was working on bunts and pop-ups today. He gets the pop-up and he gets the bunt. He's like, I'm doing all this thing, working a bit. Andrew Heaney a little bit late because he's fallen towards that third base side of the mound. More difficult play for him to get there. Even if he fields that smoothly, there's no way you're going to be able to beat him to the base.
Hey, plus, anytime you bunt, you always want to have a race with a guy on the mound. Sorry, Gooby.
That's why I always have my elbows out.
Oh. I guess I'm not the wingman anymore, but the victim of a wing.
I think my former teammate Langston would have made that play. He would have got over there. He was awesome at that. Yeah. He was very good at that. Very good body control on the mound.
A Langer, also part of our player takeover. Our original player takeover over to our left. He took a lot of pride in that. Still does.
Yes.
I think the Angels through the years that we celebrated the 60th anniversary, but to have somebody hit fungos on a daily basis to pitchers like Coach Reeves did was what a blessing that was for so many guys.
Love that. That's how you got better, when you had somebody hitting you ground ball after ground ball, covering bases. That way you're not shocked when a play like that happens.
It's the alertness, and I think, overall pitchers, Gooby, and I always talk to you about this, there's some guys that you don't want to put a play on necessarily because you know where their mind is and they're focused on that grip on that next pitch. But there's some guys that say, Shohei Ohtani, I bet you can go out there and put any play, bunt on him, and he'll know exactly how to put that in the compartment to say, this is my job right now, and I want to do it efficiently.
Yeah,
not get rattled.
You had a former teammate, and he was my teammate too, Kevin Apier, didn't really like to field his position a whole lot. So you didn't want to put a play on him.
He didn't want to pick over anything.
No. He just wanted to make sure you never get on base. But if you got on base, he was going to let somebody else do the work out there.
Here's a 1-0 on one dangerous Carlos Santana. First move, he goes, and here's the throw, second base, way too.
They're going to move him back. They're going to move him back because he leaned out over the plate.
Interference.
Carlos Santana.
They're going to call him out.
Way over. Wow. And here comes Mike Matheny.
He knows a little bit about that as a catcher.
Yes, he does.
You don't. He really leaned out over there.
He was right in the middle.
A good job too.
Yes, that's a
his arm on him.
Yes, making some contact.
Good job, Stas. 2-0 Angels.
The guys are psyched up for the next intentional talk.
Whoa, let's go!
Now that's excitement. Kevin Millar and Steven Nelson. Intentional Talk, only on MLB Network.
When we started our company, we simply wanted better sheets. But along the way, we've realized that softer, safer, organic cotton does so much more for the planet and for humanity. It helps your home become a force for good, because home is more than just an address. Home is our soul. Boll & Branch, organic sheets, bath, and home. Right now, try for 30 nights risk-free and get free shipping at bollandbranch.com.
Play. Here's Shohei delivering again. GA, enjoy it again.
It doesn't get old.
Look where that baseball went. Look at our StatCast 3D powered by Google Cloud. 111.7 exit velocity, launch angle 31 degrees, the longest home run of Ohtani's career. It's going 470 feet.
We'll never forget Joey Gallo against Garrett Richards. 490. Mike Trout right in there, 473. Trout again, 471. Shohei, 470. And he is up again. Angels up 2-0. Takes a fastball away. By the way, not just a home run, but the at-bat that he carved out was very respectable to get a good pitch a hit. Runs it right back, 1-1. Shohei, 17 home runs, 44 RBI. So after 42 pitches in the first inning for Bubic, he's really settled down. Walked 2, struck out 2 that inning. And Shohei hits it hard again in the gap. And there he goes. Take off, Shohei. Second base, easily with another extra base hit for Ohtani.
He may hit the ball too hard to hit a single for the cycle.
I know, that's what I'm thinking.
He hits a triple, he's not going to hit a single.
Oh, jeez, that ball was crushed again. That's 33 extra base hits for a guy that had 60 strikeouts on the mound. I was just going to ask you, that pitch before, fastball on the outside corner, did you ever set up pitchers, like look at something like, oh, yeah, he got me on that one, but to set him up to hope that he goes out on that outer part of the plate again?
No, I was more along the lines. I just tried to stay with my plan, you know, and attack him as opposed to the pitcher attacking me. But yeah, I wouldn't necessarily try to set him up, but I definitely would remember. I always had a really good memory of when things went bad for me. Yeah. So that was always logged in.
Here's Anthony Rendon, who worked a walk and goes the other way. Anthony Rendon, does it remind you of anybody in sitting and just waiting for the ball to get there?
Let's see. I'm trying to think
like
of
an Edgar Martinez type guy, just waited and waited and waited. Even though Edgar had a little more motion
Edgar
going
had a little
back.
bit more motion. This guy just sits there. I mean, you know, but you know he's ready. I mean, he definitely produces his whole career.
Yes,
so, but yeah, it's cool to see someone that's can, you know, like Bubic, you were talking about pitchers hated to let guys the ball travel. This guy lets the ball travel.
Hitting 346 through 6 games this month. Gets under it and fouls it away. 0-2 now to Rendon.
We often talk about Anthony Rendon. Really, does he have even a pulse? He slows the game down so well. I always remember you were the same way. Even in a lot of the highlights, you were just this calm through. Is that how you were able to be so successful? Just to slow the game and just be relaxed?
You know, it's part of actually my personality. It's not something I consciously try to do. But it does help if you are constantly under control of your emotions and your heart rate and whatnot. And he definitely, like you said, it doesn't look like he really has a pulse.
9 RBI last 6 games for Rendon. He's yet to go deep in 24 games since his most recent coming up to IL. He swings and misses. Good off speed there by the youngster, and he collects his 3rd strikeout of the night. One out for the Angels, and here's Max Stassi cleaning up here tonight.
It almost feels like Shohei Ohtani now, because Rendon wasn't able to get him over. He might try to steal the bag here now.
Let's see what the Royals do up the middle with Merrifield now on the pull side behind Shohei. And Shohei, as always, checking out the outfielders. Merrifield closing in on him. And there's a play on Gobi. That's it. That's a good play right there defensively.
You got to make him aware and don't let him get that secondary lead and going. We remember a good teammate of ours, Ricky Henderson, said the easiest bag for him to steal was third base.
Yeah, for sure.
KGA, home run, 470. Double. Second base. He's now a threat to run. And by the way, he's starting very soon as a starter and the pitcher.
This is mind-boggling. I mean, it's not that he's just doing it. He's doing it well.
He wants to go. He does have 9 stolen bases in 12 attempts this season. Stassi struck out first time up.
How does he keep his legs under him?
You tell me.
He's hit doubles, he's stealing bases, and he's pitching.
In other words, he does not have to get his conditioning in as a pitcher.
Yeah, he's not running those line-to-lines like we used to have to do.
No, sure, you don't have to do that.
Just run during the game.
He wants to go. One thing Shohei's learned, too, is remember all the bouncing around he used to do on the bases when he first got to the U.S.? Learn in the game. There's times when you do it, and there's times when you do not want to disturb that batter.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that, GA, as a hitter at the plate, and you see somebody moving around like that, that's kind of a distraction for you, right?
Well, in this situation, if I was hitting, it wouldn't bother me because my sights would be on the left-hand side. But yes, when you see a lot of bouncing around and infielders moving, it is a bit distracting.
And the worst part is when they don't go, because you're finally like, I'm going to take a pitch, but then you're not going, you know? That kind of thing happens and go through your mind.
And then you're sitting in the box waiting because he's waiting, the pitcher's waiting, so everybody's waiting, and then you can lose your timing.
And again, we're not talking about this particular situation, but when it has happened, how distracting it could be.
It's a great view to see as where you're at the plate here is Stassi off the lefty.
Here's pitch number 61 of the night for Bubic. Hit far, hit deep, left field. This one is Owes a 2-run homer again for Max Stassi. 4-0 Angels.
Boy, Maximus entertaining us again today with the power. He says, Joe, thank you for putting me in that number 4 spot. I'll clean up the runs right here with a 2-run home run. Wow, a mammoth shot. That one a little Kiss FM 102.7 exit velocity. Max Stassi.
Oh, Joe Madden talked about it. Putting him in the middle of that lineup for a reason. And it's the approach. Shohei with a double and Stassi with a home run. Stassi number 4 this season. And the Angels with 2-run homers lead 4-0.
By the way, great catch out there by the fan, bringing the glove.
The fans have been busy around here with their glove. It's great. Every night we see a highlight.
Remember in Baltimore, the announcer would say, give that fan a contract.
Yeah.
A play like that, leading over. Yes.
And it starts now. Nice job. Did you see that?
I think there's more room to catch them now. There's less fans in the park, so you have an opportunity. People aren't fighting over them.
You can actually
Good point.
Chase.
Yes.
Go out there and run.
He's texting everybody, hey, did you see me make that play? Are they talking about me yet? Yes, we're talking about you now.
Oh, yeah. Well deserved. Bring your glove, make a catch. Hey, maybe he scouted something, too. Remember, we got Monterey. Does a little scouting. Hit to the left side, Gutierrez. Tough hop. Goes across and retiring Gosselin. Let's take a look again because you cannot get tired of watching this. About timing and about being in the right spot. Here it is. Leaning over that railing, too.
Nice. No.
What do you think? Do players notice stuff like that? No, never happened.
You know what we noticed was, this is going to sound bad, but when they get hit, like in the back, when they're running forward and they trip, that's what, I mean, I don't want to see anybody get hurt, but it is pretty funny.
Well, I mean, Garrett, a ball coming at 100+ without a glove.
I wouldn't try to catch it.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know what they're thinking.
So fans, don't feel bad. I mean, at some point, we've all gotten hit by balls in the stands.
By the way, what was the catch probability of that, reaching over the wall there like that, over that fence?
And what fans would do to go get a ball. It's amazing.
Yes.
And we cannot wait. This is going to open up very soon, Bubic. And
he's able to make the catch and still use those thumbs to be able to text somebody.
He's going to have a lot of company here soon. The stadium going to full capacity. Meanwhile, Angels lead 4-0. 1-2 count here to Taylor Ward. Oh. A little late on that one. Ward struck out swinging first time up. He's done a very fine job. Versatility, former catcher, former third baseman, who's doing a very fine job playing the outfield.
Wow, that's pretty good. I mean, just to be able to translate from being behind the plate to go play other positions.
And by the way, there's some early work going on a couple of days ago, and he was working with Jose Molina and his catching skills. Backhanded long throw, and he throws him out. Nice play by Gutierrez, a youngster, but the Angels do it again. Gooby, it's all about the pop from Maximus.
Maximus entertaining with a 2-run home run. Jared Walsh liking it. Anastasia, 4th of the year.
Carbon waste is weighing down the world. All beds are different. They're made from wool and recycled materials. They're soft and breathable and light. Light on your feet and the planet. Reduce your carbon footprint.
Nerds! Have new money goals this year? NerdWallet can help make them happen. Like getting auto insurance to match your new 0-mile commute? We have tools for that. Want to refinance your mortgage and put those savings into the college fund? We have tips for that too. Or get a low-interest credit card for your long-awaited honeymoon? We can help you find the one. Credit card, that is. Discover and compare the smartest credit cards, mortgage lenders, and more on NerdWallet. For all your money questions, turn to the nerds.
Okay, celebrate the return of full capacity at Angel Stadium. Yes, very soon against the Tigers, June 17th. For half-price tickets, visit angels.com/reopen and use promo code REOPEN. Hey, fans, thank you. And this fan's going to be quite thankful. And maybe with that reopen, their promo code, bring some friends with them.
Said Jay, you used to play good left field. How about me playing left field there, just beyond the wall?
4-0, Andrew Heaney looking for win number 4. Here's something about playing left field, GA, that you can explain better than anybody is the hook on the right-handed batter's swing.
Yes,
versus a slice that you get playing in right field.
Yeah, the hook in the left field is definitely harder than the slice in right field. I mean, I always cheated over another 5 to 7 yards to offset that. Most of our outfield coaches wanted us playing more straight up in the gap or whatever during and I always found it was easier to get to the ball if I cheated 5 or 7 yards toward the line, because if the ball was hit into left center, it's still going to come back to me. So I never could get the coaches to understand that. They were just so stuck on, you just play right here. But I always made my adjustments in the outfield.
What was your favorite place to play as far as left field? I mean, you're going to always say here the Big A is your number 1, but what was your favorite, and what was the one you least liked playing left field?
I like playing left field in Boston because I didn't have to move. I mean, you did it. There was nowhere to go. If the ball was hitting the air, you turn around and pick it up, or maybe you just have that shot in the left center. So it was really easy to play left. Well, I always heard it was so hard to play, and I was like, no, it's not hard. I played a little deeper because the game doesn't change. The ball's coming off the bat doesn't change. You know, I play here left field. Why am I going to play a closer in Boston? So I was able to make that adjustment there. But the place I hated playing the outfield it wasn't in left field. It was right field in Boston. And it felt like you were on the moon. I mean, you were all out there by yourself. There was so much room out there. And going down in that corner, you just dreaded running down there because you know if you had one little mishap, it's a home run.
Yeah, it's going to roll around there. You'll be chasing that for a long time.
Let's clarify something here. Carlos Santana, as Merrifield was called out, but Santana called out on the previous inning, the way things ended. And Salvador Perez led off this inning with Groundo to the shortstop for out number 1.
A tough way to get making out.
No kidding. We got to go to you as of right now. That's our guess at this point.
Savvy catcher. Taking a bat away from somebody.
Some outlets got scored a caught stealing, but we'll wait for the official announcement. All we know is that Salvador Perez and not Carlos Santana led off the inning. So Santana out.
But the interesting thing, he's 0 for 1 though in the game, and he already had grounded out. So is it not an official on at bat?
Let's find out, clarify some things. You know one thing, Andrew Heaney has been on his game. He's allowed 1 hit. He's walked a couple of guys. In fact, he had leadoff walks to the first 2 batters back in the 2nd inning, but helped out by a double play. Another good swing by Dozier. Guys that were line drive hitters versus fly ball guys, you find yourself playing differently and reading those swings. Take like a Dozier and a Merrifield, for example, playing left field because of that hook.
Yeah, I would be more aware of those guys. The fly ball guys, it wasn't a big deal.
It wasn't.
I was going to have time to run under it. It was the guys that hit the ball on the line that you really had to be in good position and get a good read off the bat.
Staying alive, 1-2 now for Dozier. On deck is Jorge Soler. Dozier walked back in the 2nd inning.
A couple left-handers on the mound today, and thinking maybe a left-handed pitcher. What was your most difficult pitcher to face on the mound?
Early young Randy Johnson, who was throwing the ball from dugout to dugout. It was self-preservation up there. I didn't want to get hit in the ear with the ball. But as he matured and lost a little velocity, he was still throwing 92, 93, but he had learned he developed control. And it made him easier to hit. And that pitch right there was out over the plate, and it was 92, 93 as opposed to 97 up by your face.
Yeah.
Not bad, Gia. You made them all count.
Yeah, you know, that's all that really matters. You said you homered off them. That's all that really matters. I know as a hitter, that's all that really matters. As a pitcher, you remember everybody that hit a home run against. So it doesn't matter if you were like 1 for 50, but if you hit a home run off, that's all I remember.
So I saw the 9 strikeouts and 21 at bats, but how about the other outs? Because, I mean, you still put the ball in play against him, considering how he threw.
That was more toward the end, though. It was not when he was in Seattle. And one year, Terry Collins, I sat the whole year against Randy. He would have somebody, and then at the end of the year when the game meant something, I started. And I'm like, well, wait a minute now. I said all season, now you're going to send me up there against this guy? I don't have any chance.
And you're not going to try to bunt against him because that's even going to be worse for you.
Yeah, he put me on the ground.
You're Soler with a 2-1. He walked on the first time up. He goes up 4-0. 2-run homer from Shohei Ohtani. Back in the 1st inning, his 17th. And a 2-run homer by Max Stassi, his 4th of the season. And for Andrew Heaney, 54 pitches, very manageable so far. Here with 2 outs. Foul straight back to our right.
They get up in there?
I mean, there was a lot of noise.
I think Frankie kept that in front of her.
We're covered over there. We're good.
Patrick O'Neill was in there too. He's all right.
Patrick's got the baseball. We're in safe hands. That has some English on it. Keep it away from here.
Please.
Here's a 3-2 on Soler. He got him looking. 3 strikeouts total for Andrew Heaney. 1, 2, 3 go the Royals here in the 4th.
What's worse, having erectile dysfunction or having to talk about it? You'd be surprised how many men I've talked to that struggle with that choice. And it's why I started Roman, because getting help shouldn't be difficult. With Roman, we've made it easy to connect with a healthcare professional online. They'll work with you to find the right treatment plan, and if prescribed, your medication will ship discreetly to your door. Simple, straightforward, and the way healthcare should be. Roman, let's take care of it.
It's not just because Boll & Branch organic cotton sheets are incredibly soft. They are. And it's not just that they're free from toxins and made by people who are paid and treated fairly. That's true too. It's because home is where the magic happens. And with better sheets made in safer ways, Home makes the world a better place. Boll & Branch. Right now, try for 30 nights risk-free and get free shipping at bollandbranch.com.
Be on TV? That's nice. Hey man, we just want to say thank you for being a great teammate, man. You showed me a lot and you helped me out more than you ever know. I'm still surprised you're going to be on TV. Enjoy yourself, man.
That's a surprise.
Oh,
that's awesome.
That's a great surprise for you.
Yeah, it is.
What does Sean Figgins bring to this club when you guys needed it?
Oh, speed. He played a good role that year when he came up. There wasn't a lot of playing time for him, but Mike used him a lot in that run, and he got a lot of key stolen bases, advancing, going from second to third. I'm sorry, first to third, and he brought a lot to the table when he came off the bench.
Brings me Cliff Floyd.
Yes.
In left
Boston,
field.
right?
Iglesias on Lowe's.
Did you?
Havana. Magic goes deep. 5-0. Angels here in the fourth.
GA, you're bringing the power here today. Not only home runs, these are some mammoth home runs.
Jose Iglesias, number 5 for him this season. Keep in mind, Kris Bubic came into this game having allowed 2 home runs in 34 innings.
And the Angels overall have struggled against left-handed pitching. It seems to be really setting on all-speed pitches against them. And knowing they can still react on his fastball, it's not overpowering. You ever face pitchers like that, GA, where you just, because they don't have an overpowering fastball, you can kind of sit off speed and do the damage?
For sure. I mean, I really didn't like to do that, but when those pitchers are, the ones that threw 87, 88, you really can get a chance to sit back because there wasn't much disparity between their changeup, curveball, and their fastball. So waiting was, it was easier to wait.
A 5-run lead now is Agares. Hits one close to us.
What are you doing to us, GA?
We're going to get hit. We're going to get hit tonight.
How about that? 3 home runs for the Angels. Ohtani, Stassi, Iglesias. Hit to the left side. Hunter Alberto. All throughout the country, man. Well, we heard from Figgy, right? But we cannot forget about one David Eckstein, who says this about EGA. I use GA all the time. As an example of a player that learned how to be a great hitter to all fields first, then over time use that sweet swing to hit for power without losing the average. I would like to thank him for being an exemplary model of how to be a major leaguer. He was a consummate professional and someone I looked up to and was thankful to have been his teammate.
That's pretty cool. Well, what I do remember, what I do remember is David Eckstein. He was the closet. He was the consummate clubhouse stirring the pot.
Really?
Oh my gosh! He would come in a room, say something, and he's gone, and everybody's in there arguing about something.
We'll talk about Eckstein. Here's Fletcher, wearing number 22, and he's retired. So that's why we like these player takeovers. Do you just hear what he said about David Eckstein?
Yeah, it reminds me of David Fletcher. They're the same type of player.
That's why I call
Sneaky
him
Fletch.
Stealthy.
Yes.
Okay, so something like what? Come in, stir it up, and get out.
It could be about the color of the sky. I mean, something so simple. And he would just come in and say something to somebody, and it would get going. And then you look around, and David's gone.
Like a good lawyer.
Wow. How cool is this? You have your former teammates. I know you're an Angel Hall of Famer, but your teammates is saying so many good things about you. That's got to make you feel great.
It is cool. And, one thing that I was learned when I was young and I was taught as a young baseball player, just be a good teammate. And that's what I always try to do, is to lift my teammates up and just be positive and just always pull for them.
That is wonderful. I mean, to hear from people like Figgins, who changed the game, had a nice career. David Eckstein, 2 World Championship rings, by the way.
As an MVP.
Right. Think about that.
Yeah, can you believe that? MVP of the World Series.
In today's scouting, would he even got drafted?
No, not at all.
Is that crazy
I don't
or what?
think so, no. But even to make it even better, in that day and age, it was still tough. I mean, he was a Rule 5 guy, and he stuck. You know, when he came over, fortunately, somebody got hurt, but still, he took advantage of the opportunity.
Angels did a fine job scouting him out of the Boston organization. Bring him over, give it to Alfredo Griffin, and history was made.
Yes.
Upton a walk and a fly out to center field, robbed by Taylor. And a tremendous catch in the gap in left center field. 0 for 1 for Justin.
Yeah, with a 2-2 count with 2 outs. I don't want to ask this question, but maybe next inning. But I want to go back to that team that won the World Series. The players, the teammates on that team, how that camaraderie and the toughness and the never give up attitude and really propelled you guys to that World Series.
It did. And we all pulled for each other all the time.
Full count now on Upton. It is a team, by the way, and I know we're going to have this conversation coming up even after this at bat in next inning. They started 6-14 after finishing 41 games out the previous season.
It was a tough stretch to start the season for sure, because we did have high hopes that year.
41 games out. All thanks, obviously, to the record setting by the Seattle Mariners. But really,
41 games out?
Yeah.
Wow.
41. Oakland won 102 games that season. They were out by like 14 games. That's how good the Mariners were, and they're hoping to get back to the playoffs. It's been a tough drought for them as a franchise. This one's hit hard and deep to the gap in left center field. Upton looks up. This one's not coming back. Another adios for the Halos.
What if you like this one there, GA? That's a little J Uptown funk. Going yard again.
He had to drop it on you, GA.
I've already been saying it during the season. I've heard it.
That's number 14. You know, he goes Ricky Henderson. He gets a walk lead off the game, now a home run.
Yeah.
Well, think about this. That's 14 now for Justin Upton. He's only 3 behind as he started the night. Shohei Ohtani. Take me through that swing and the extension on that break ball.
He just has. I've always liked his swing, and kind of envious of how he's always in the same place all the time. And it's always been fun to watch him play because he drives. When he gets that pitch, he drives it.
Came into the league at a very young age. Watched by guys like Garrett Anderson. And here's Shohei. Cross up there.
I didn't realize he was that young. Because I played golf with him this offseason. I invited him out, and we played golf, and I was picking his brain. So I didn't realize he got to the big leagues at that young of an age.
Yes, he did.
How far does he hit a golf ball, by the way?
Just as far as he hits a baseball.
Okay, I was going to wonder.
No, twice as far.
Times 3.
He can crush a golf ball.
It's good to see Justin Upton going through so many challenges, especially last season when he actually lost playing time. Bouncing back, tough start to the season. He is liking that leadoff spot. Walk, 2 runs scored and the home run. Shohei does not get cheated. And here's Shohei. That's one thing we do, Garrett. There's a player he's so aware of everything that happens. He'll say, I'm sorry to somebody on a line out. I mean, he hit a batter the other day and said, hey, you know what? But he notices everything, including this past swing, on whether the ball got the umpire or the catcher. So engaged. Hooks it. Way foul.
By the way, Upton just passed Troy Glaus on the home run list at 321 in his career. He's bringing it all full circle.
Troy Glaus, my goodness. I don't think there's enough talk about Troy Glaus, MVP of the World Series.
Talk about a guy that hit a baseball hard.
What a run.
He took pride in that too, by the way.
Oh, I can imagine.
He's a big guy.
It was light tower. Power for Troy Glaus. So Justin Upton, congrats. Number 321 in his career. Shohei 1-2. Double and a home run tonight against the lefty. This lefty came into this ballgame, by the way, Bubic, having allowed only 2 hits and 22 at-bats, Gooby, to left-handed batters. Until he found this man right here. Got him, fooled him totally with the off speed, but the home runs continue to flow here at the Big A. 4 of them. And they go this time. Iglesias. Upton. Yes, like that. 6-0 Halos going to the 5th.
Hey, Al, I'm just wondering, during the demo on MLB Tonight, what was that meatball you threw?
Meatball? I think you're misunderstanding. That was a hitting demonstration, and that's what I was supposed to do.
Oh, he got home, baby. Right. I think that ball's still traveling. Any farther, and you need a flight plan for it.
Next question.
The analyst of MLB Tonight, answering baseball's toughest questions. Only on MLB Network.
Push it down the third base line and end up at first base.
Relax and watch High Heat with Christopher Russo. Only on MLB Network.
What a beautiful night to Terry. Here's our ballpark view from the T-Mobile coverage cam and the beautiful sights of the Big A. And yeah, some things have changed, Garrett, but perhaps you also remember when this place was totally enclosed.
Yes, very cavernous.
And as you came up to the big leagues in the 90s, also saw the capacity where it was over 60,000.
Mm-hmm. And we're pulling in probably about 7,000 on a Monday night.
That was a little echoey, a little like Cleveland, right, Gooby?
Oh, for sure.
Hit hard right side. Nice read. There's that slice we're talking about, GA. Tell me about that play there.
You just have to, in my mind, I just tried to overrun the ball. I didn't want to chase the ball. I wanted to be there when the ball got there.
And again, another comparison that we talk about, Gooby, is, and Joe Madden says, if I'm going to play somebody who's out of position or learning a position, it's better to have a right fielder who throws from the right and a left fielder that throws from the left because of the glove side, the angle, the slice, and the hook.
I agree with that, but it makes it tougher to throw home from left field.
Yeah, that would make sense.
When I played center and right in the minor leagues. When I came to the big leagues, obviously I had to play left if I wanted to play with Jim and Tim. And it took me a while to learn to make sure I turned my shoulder all the way in because a lot of times my ball would end up first base line.
I was going to say it would tell that way,
yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I asked Taylor Ward, because he's played all three outfield positions. I said, what outfield position you like most? And he said center field.
I agree. The ball is a truer flight. You don't have to worry about, the slices they're abbreviated. They're not, running hard away from you. And you get a better read off the right on line with it. So playing the corners, it is tougher. And I think, in my opinion, left field was the toughest one.
Oh. Also, you guys have to deal with, as we see Justin Upton, veteran left fielder, the bank of lights not only at home, but also learning the ones on the road with the sky and the different tiers and all those kinds of things.
Yeah, the newer stadiums did a better job of that. The stadium here, they actually listened to us and took a couple banks of rows of lights out for us.
Really?
Because we couldn't see the ball in certain places in left center. You were not going to catch it. It just wasn't going to happen. And so they took a couple banks of rows of lights out, and it made it easier to see the ball.
How about GA, where he ranks club record 2,013 games, runs, hits, RBI, doubles, all over the Angels record book. I mean, now that you're not playing, this has to make you feel proud, and also the fact that you share it with your family and your kids.
Yeah, it's just showing a body of work over a period of time and being consistent for a long period of time, which is tough to do in the big leagues. You're going to have your ups and downs, but I was able to maintain a pretty good average every year, production-wise every year, and more thing I took the most pride in is I stayed on the field. I mean, there had a stretch for 8 or 9 years that I played over 150-plus games a year. And, I mean, to this day, I kind of pay for it a little bit, but it was worth it. And to touch on the family, yeah, it was awesome. I had an opportunity to leave here twice if I wanted to, but it was more important for me to be around my family, to see my kids as much as I did, because the year I went to Atlanta, I wasn't prepared to play away and have my kids away. I went a period of not seeing my kids for 2 months. So I love the years that I played here, and money doesn't matter. I've been more than blessed with that, so I enjoyed my time here.
So I think, realistically, let's not hide the fact that you went to Atlanta and ended up with the Dodgers also.
Yes, yeah.
And that's part of the business of baseball.
Yes, it is.
You and I even discussed that around that time, saying there's a part of the business that is not very fun.
Yeah. And I got talked into playing with the Dodgers. I was actually done after the 09 season. I was done. I knew I couldn't productively play every day anymore, and that was my mindset. I got talked into taking that position, but the only reason I took it because I was at home.
I go back and look at your numbers, the RBIs and the doubles. I remember in '97 we were teammates, and Rod Carew would sit there and we would talk about you all the time. And he would say, listen, everyone always says you want to see you hit more home runs. He goes, but you know what? You're driving in 90 runs every year or more. And doubles. Isn't that what you want?
Yeah, you want to advance
RBIs.
runs. Yeah, RBIs. One year I hit under 10 home runs and drove in over 90 runs. So I took great pride in driving in runs. It is a skill. It's something you just don't go up there and do. You have to study your pitchers, and you have to have the mindset to do it as well.
Talk about mindset. Number 29, Rod Carew. How did he change your mindset?
With him, people think we didn't talk about any of that stuff. All we talked about was I wanted to turn every pitch into a line drive. So we talked about that all the time. I took bits and pieces from different hitting pitches, coaches and stuff over my career. So yeah, it was just it was amazing to be with him, what he did for the game and what he taught me, those things. But yeah, I always treasure those times with him.
I had a chance to talk to Rod just a few days ago, and first of all, we're so thankful to see him healthy.
Yeah.
As we see this play develop here, Hansel Alberto hitting that ball right down the line. Good job by Upton, but also a better read at first base, good by Olivares.
Yeah, it was. And seeing that throw to third. How about a throw right there? How hard was that? Because that ball is on the line. It's going to hook away to be able to, as a left-handed thrower. How would you be able to make that throw to third base and be in it right on line?
Well, I learned that play in the minor leagues because I did find it tough to as a left-hander. My coach, Len Sakata, took me out in the outfield and said, hey, you need to learn this play being a left-hander. So he taught me that spin. And, right there, I would have just spun and I would have fired the ball at second base because I knew I couldn't get that guy at third base.
That's always a good play, too, because then you still keep that, that force out at second base on a ground ball in the hole. I always thought that was one of the underrated things about you. I know the numbers all speak for themselves, but your defense.
Yeah, I took pride.
I was going to say you took a lot of pride.
I got some flack early in the minor leagues because I just didn't know how to play every day, and it manifested in different areas of the game. Once I learned how to play every day, it was easier to do those type of plays, and I enjoyed playing defense. I enjoyed throwing people out. It was fun.
You mentioned hitting every pitch for a line drive. I mean, how tough was that to apply when Rod said it to you?
It really wasn't that difficult. I mean, and let me back up a little bit. I was always really good hitter. So my question was, okay, how do we do this? Where do I hit the ball? Where do I hit the baseball to be able to turn it into a line drive?
I see that shot of, Chili Davis.
Yeah.
Rod.
Oh, every day. When back in the days, there would be a tee out here, and Rod would not let us go into the cage unless we were warm hitting off the tee. He would not let you walk into that cage. So we would hit off the tee right behind the batter's cage. So yeah, he was hands-on with all of us.
Boy, what a fantastic teacher. Merrifield 0-2. He's 1 for 2 today and takes upstairs.
By the way, you had 109 outfield assists. That's pretty impressive. Arm still loose, or is it good right now?
I don't know if I can pick it up above my shoulder right now.
So Alberto with his double at second base.
Boy, he loves left-handed pitching, doesn't he?
Well, I talked to you about that off air before the game. Here's your guy, Bubic. Did he go?
Did he?
From up here, I saw some snapping of that bat head, but let's see what the replay says.
All right, then here's the hitter's perspective. Anytime I thought a guy even moved his bat, I thought it was a strike.
Gooby, that's a fair ball right there.
Yeah.
But I mean, the rule book says attempted swing. I think anytime you bring it off your shoulder, you're attempting a swing.
No, man, I love you even more now, GA.
I don't think it's definitive enough in the rule book.
What? GA said, wait a minute. Gooby,
that's what the book says. That's what I've heard.
He's going Ken Kaiser here, going like that, ringing him up there on the check swing.
He had some great signs down at first.
Oh, yes.
It is a full count. It was Carlos Santana waiting on the Angels leading 6-0. 4 home run for the Halos tonight. Swing and a miss. He got him. He loves his fastball. 93.
That's not easy to strike out Merrifield either. He makes contact. He had a lot of conviction behind that high fastball. Swing and miss. No runs on that one.
5 punch outs. Good.
1, 2, 3. Wake up for a full day of baseball on MLB Central. Featuring an all-star lineup of hosts.
Let's rock, baby.
Teeing up baseball's biggest news and stories with a little style.
This is waiting for you right here.
Can we record that? Joined by a colorful cast of guests all season long.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it does look good on camera.
Word on the street is you can sing.
Not even close.
The fun never stops on MLB Central. Weekday mornings, 10 Eastern. Only on MLB Network.
You want that home run feeling? Then step in the box and let it rip. Get ready for the Major League Baseball Junior Home Run Derby, powered by @MLB Develops. Compete locally and swing your way to the 2021 Junior Home Run Derby Finals. Sign up for free at jrhrd.com.
Angels Baseball on Bally Sports is brought to you by Hyundai. See your Southern California dealer today. Because the longer you look at a new Hyundai, the more there is to like. And by Jack in the Box, our $6.99 triple bacon cheesy jack combo is here. Only at Jack in the Box. Player takeover, and we have to talk about bats. Now, here's a comparison, Garrett. You're logging the bottom, and one with Torrey Hunter, who is considered a slugger, right? But look at the difference in the inches of these bats.
Yeah, 36, 35, 36, 36, yeah.
Wow. I mean, that allowed you to stay off home plate. I mean, and then look at
I was on top of home plate with it.
Gooby, the big guy's got the big grains, by the way. You see that?
I noticed that.
You see that?
I'm seeing a couple of those marks on the barrel. That must have been against me.
But tell me about bat selection. What did you start with when you first got to the big leagues, and how do you end up with a 36-35?
I started off with a 34-32. I've always used a balanced bat, so stayed with that my whole career. And the year Mo Vaughn came here was 98, and I just messed around with his bat in practice for about 2 weeks. And I went to him. I said, I could swing this.
And he had a 35.
He swung 36-36.
Okay.
And I said, I could swing this in a game. He's like, no, you can't. So I was selective on who I took it in the face, and it was Omar Olivares, a sinker ball pitcher, so I knew I didn't have to worry about a pitch inside. And he left something out with a plate, and I hit that screen out there with the Trout jersey on it. And I didn't start using it every day then, because I knew I couldn't control it day to day. So I grew into it. By the end of the year, I could use it.
Yeah, I was wondering, could you still use that bat come August or so when you maybe you get a little bit tired? You could still keep that same bat?
From 99 to about 2006 or 7, I used it religiously, and then I noticed in about 2007, 2008, I started noticing I was missing some pitches. So I dropped down to a 35, 33. And I stayed with that until my last year playing. When I was with the Dodgers as a utility player, I went all the way back to a 34, 32. because all I'm doing is pinch hitting, and I needed something that I can handle on any pitch.
Yes. Also, we notice on the wood is the evolution, Gooby and Garrett, of from ash to maple. Let's go to Coors Light beating the pressure GA, slapping base hits all over the place. How about this for some company between 97 and 2003? Well, some guys that could run too.
Yeah, some guys that could run for sure, and some power hitters in there as well. They were they could do both.
And we were talking about this before the game. Derek Jeter got more at bats than you did on that trip because he's leading off. And you were going to be 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 in the lineup, so you'd have one, maybe a few less at bats during the course of the season.
So we were in Texas. And it was a rain delay, and it was bugging me. I was like, why does this guy? Why am I always this 20, 30 hits shy? So I went to the media guide. I always love looking at media guides, and first thing I noticed, his plate appearances. He had 100 more plate appearances than me. So I was like, all right, threw the book down. I know why now.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Ronald Bolaños says another foul ball to our right. Hopefully Patrick O'Neill is okay.
He's got his glove now. He's trying to make a play over there.
It's been hot zone. So the fan makes a great play on a home run to left field, and our partners to our right are trying to get there too. Again, Ronald Bolaños is a new pitcher. Bubic done for the night after allowing 6 earned runs in 4 innings, including 4 home runs for the Angels. It all started with Shohei Ohtani in the first inning. Max Stassi, like Shohei, also a 2-run homer. Jose Iglesias and Justin Upton with solo homers for the Halos here tonight. Angels lead 6-0. Here Bolaños delivering a fastball, 95 in the inner third.
Yeah, Bolaños' fastball is 91, 98. He'll throw a curveball, slider, and a changeup. You talk about a pitcher coming into the game. Bubic had only allowed 2 home runs, an ERA in the 2s.
He came in with a 2.12 ERA. He leaves with a 3.32 ERA. For the youngster, 23-year-old from Stanford. And he was making the 5th start of the season and appearing in his 9th game.
So often you hear that hitting is contagious. How realistic is that, GA, for a team?
I think to some degree it is, but I think it's really predicated by the guy that's on the mound. that helps that along when he's missing out over the plate. But you do have a little bit of sitting in there. You see line drives flying, and you want to be that guy that doesn't want to be left out. Chili Davis used to always have this saying, 1 drink minimum. Yeah. Don't be that guy that doesn't get the hit.
Oh, man, he was a great leader, though.
Oh, I love playing with Chili. I wish I could have played with him longer. He helped me so much with, playing every day and growing as a Major League Ball player, and how to conduct yourself as a Major League Ball player, and respect this game that they're so blessed to play.
Here's Gosselin, 0-1. How about Chili Dog? How about this? And he was a tough guy, man.
Yes, he was.
By the way, you could blame it on me because I was traded for him. It's all my fault.
As a youngster, mentoring is one thing, but also that tough conversation. Did he have it with you at all? Was there some guys?
Yeah.
Like Chili Davis?
I think I had more with Chili. He was more of a nurturer. The guy that I had more of the run-ins with, in a good way, it was an educational way, was Tony Phillips. We would, there was a time we were in Toronto, and there was a fly ball to left field. In Toronto, back in the mid-'90s, were a very aggressive base running team.
Okay.
So I got a fly ball to left, and, I caught it, and I threw it into second base. And I come in the dugout, and he just, all in my face. These guys are aggressive. You got to know. So I had those kind of things with Tony where he would get in our face, and, and he's teaching us. And I understood at the time that he wasn't tearing me down. He was teaching me. It wasn't like I felt bad afterwards. I'm like, okay, I'm learning something here.
That's tough.
I loved it. I loved being pushed like that. He challenged us every day because it was me, Tim Salmon, and more Jim and I, because we were a little bit younger than Tim. But every day it was some kind of learning lesson. Like there was one day when we were stretching, and it was something wrong with Jimmy, and something, his leg or something like that. And Tony was more along the lines of, we need you in the lineup. They don't know you're hurt, but they know if you're in the lineup, that's all that matters. So he taught us stuff like that, and it went a long way with me.
Nice take there by Goose, but a guy like Tony Phillips, He went through the grind. I mean, he paid a price. He was one time labeled as a player slap hitter. He made himself a terrific player.
Yes, he did in that 95 year when we had a great season. We didn't finish well, but he led the season off as a leadoff hitter with 27 home runs. Jim had 33, I think, from the 2-hole. I mean, we had some bombers that year in the lineup.
Boy, Bolaños not messing around. 1, 2, 3, 3 punch outs as GA celebrating this player takeover. Oh, there's a lot of high fives throughout that career. Deservedly so. Standing O's. Oh, yeah, G. You deserve it. We'll be right back.
Mike Trout. People know he's one of the greatest players this game's ever seen.
Meet Mike Trout.
Can run.
He's watching MLB Network.
He's one of the nicest people you're ever going to meet.
Because that's what baseball fans do.
And he's also got tremendous show hair with his hat off.
1, 2, 3. Wake up for a full day of baseball on MLB Central. Featuring an all-star lineup of hosts.
Let's rock, baby.
Teeing up baseball's biggest news and stories with a little style.
This is waiting for you right here.
Can we record that?
Joined by a colorful cast of guests all season long.
Oh, yeah, it does look good on camera.
Word on the street is you can sing.
Not even close.
The fun never stops on MLB Central. Weekday mornings, 10 Eastern. Only on MLB Network.
Hey, now let's look at our Frontier play sense, GA. Let's see. Stay back. Hips turned, aligned. Oh, where's that knob, GA? Check me.
Right
through this.
ball.
Slice it in half.
Thanks to Woody Williams.
Lagares camps under this one off the bat of Santana. There's one out. You know what? In terms of keeping it simple for yourself, when you got long with your swing, what was your go-to?
My go-to was to get some tee work in and hit the bottom right-hand part of the ball.
Bottom
right-hand part of the ball. That was gonna hit me a line drive over the shortstop's head.
Would you approach guys like Mark Gubiza, for example, who would bust you in if needed, get you off the plate, but also you knew had the power sinker?
Sinker ballers, all I tried to do was keep the ball off the ground. I mean, because my second year in the big leagues, I think I hit 22 double plays that year. So I was like, I got to fix this. They're not going to let me stay up here doing this. So I would try to hit the ball in the air. Yeah, for sure.
There it is right there. You mentioned developing as a hitter, developing your power. When did you say, I know that there's more power in me? What did it take for you to be convinced? And also, how do you turn the field around?
Well, I knew there was more power in me. I just didn't quite know how to go about doing it. One year I tried to hit home runs. I think it was the summer of 2000. I had 26 or 27 at the break, but I was hitting 246. And that wasn't acceptable by my part. So what I learned to do was take the fastball out of the zone. That's when my power number started to go up. Any fastball in the zone, I was going to cover it. As opposed to try to hit it to center field, I was going to try to hit the ball out of the park.
Look at the first half. Yeah. Will be tale of two seasons in 2000.
That's incredible.
9 home runs in the second half.
Yeah, your slugging percentage higher. On-base percentage higher.
Yeah. I made a conscious effort, and Scott Spezio's dad actually called me out because he watched all that stuff too. He caught me in the hallway after the game. He's like, I know what you're doing. I'm like, what are you talking about? You changed your swing. You went back to your normal swing. I said, you're right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hit 246 this year.
So how hard is that to go up there to the plate thinking I'm going to try to hit a home run? I mean, is that why the batting average at that 246, because you're trying to hit a home run? Home runs are all mistakes, right?
For sure, and you're exactly right. Mo Vaughn, after the game, like toward the middle of the season, he's like, you know what, man, you need to go back to hitting this 1 for 4, going for a home run every night. That's not you as a hitter. So I flipped it. I flipped my halves in the second half. I went back to being a hitter that I was.
Here's what we know: home run derby in 03. You shocked the world, right? I mean, that was quite a display of a control swing in a tough environment.
Well, I got some advice from Troy when I went.
Troy Gloss,
okay. He did it the year before, or maybe one other time before that. He said, Garrett, just take your normal batting practice swing. Do not try to hit the ball far. And that's all I did is took batting practice. I had a great batting practice. The guy who threw to me, Dave Valley, former catcher, short stroke, kept everything up. And I was able to hit, home runs. And my home runs in that thing went barely over the fence. Pujols and Giambi were hitting them up in the concourse. So I'm just wall scrapers going over the fence, but I hit one more than Albert did.
Was it exhausting? I mean, did you get tired, or you just kept your normal swing through it?
In that particular setting, it wasn't exhausting because when they'd go through the whole lineup and then they would come back. Nowadays, it's almost like they're trying to make you tired doing it. And I didn't have a problem doing it at all. I wasn't gassed. I did notice the next morning, though, my arm was sore. My bicep was sore.
Shohei Ohtani, should he do it? If asked to do it in Colorado.
I would love to. I mean, I would love to see that. I mean, that's the whole point of having this talent, is to let everybody see it. So when they asked me to do it, I guess maybe 10 guys didn't want to do it, and they finally got to me. But they called me in the clubhouse after the game on Sunday when we were leaving. I'm like, sure, I'll do it. Why not? Go have fun with it.
Can you imagine the global show that would be?
Oh, my goodness. And doing it in Colorado as well?
Absolutely.
You might see a ball get hit out of the stadium.
Now, we watched him in batting practice. He hit the 3rd level above the bullpen mounts. And the people that were working there were astonished. They were like, there's never been baseballs hit up here before.
So if you were advised Shohei, you take the same advice that Troy gave you?
Yeah, just go do what you normally do.
In BP?
Yeah. The only thing that was different about that was, when we take batting practice, there's a cage there. So you have this insulated field. But when you're there, it's like you're in a game and you're still trying to do this. So that was a little something to get used to.
Remember, we always heard about Ichiro Suzuki, like at will. He could run and win a home run derby.
I've seen him do it in batting practice. He can hit one when he wants to in batting practice.
With a 33, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Although I think his bats were a little unfair. He gave me one. It felt like it was an aluminum bat. The wood was so hard.
Hear the sound?
Yeah.
Here's one off the end of the bat by Soler at right field. To the Ward, puts it away. He's been busy, so Andrew Heaney doing a fine job through 6, shutting down the Royals.
Cliff, how do you know how much bling to wear before each game?
What bling you wear during the game is a very important decision. You want to wear enough so you look good, but not too much where it slows you down on the base pass. Some diamonds are always nice, but on a sunny day, the reflection can get in your eye and make you miss a play.
Thanks, Cliff. Very informative.
The analyst of MLB Tonight, answering baseball's toughest questions. Only on MLB Network.
Welcome to the nerd life. Welcome to the nerd life.
It's all about the numbers on MLB Now. Only on MLB Network.
Welcome to the nerd life.
How many jerseys colors did you wear, by the way?
The red, the blue, the pinstripe with the sleeve.
Career batting average, bases empty, runners on. That is money right there. 290 runners in scoring position. And 2 outs scoring position. When Bubic's trying to make that tough pitch, you spoil it. Then you get the single up the sinker. Bases loaded, 314.
And believe me, when we look at numbers as pitchers, opposing pitchers going against GA, we knew when there's runners in scoring position, that was going to be a difficult task. Because usually as a pitcher, your focus is even more so because you don't want to give up runs. But then you're facing GA and you know he's going to make contact. There's no way you're going to strike him out. There's no way I'm going to strike you out. So you're going to put the ball in play. All you can hope for is I get you out just in front enough where you're going to hit it towards the end of the bat and roll over maybe to the second baseman.
You know what, Bubic? What was the pitchers' meetings when you guys were facing the Angels and when GA's name came up? What came up about GA?
Well, when we went through the entire team, and there was always a couple guys, especially on all our number of right-handed pitchers on our team, and it was like, you know, you're talking about Tim Salmon, you got Jim Evans, you got Darren Erstad, but we're always going, we don't want to have GA come up in an RBI situation because there's no way we can get some swing and misses with the other guys. I mean, granted, they had some good swings too against it, but we knew GA was going to put the ball in play.
No,
so we're thinking, okay, what is the best way to make sure it's not in the air? What are we going to do? Either we throw something in on the handle of the bat. Well, he's still quick enough to turn on it. We're all thinking our best chance is try to fastball down and away and hope. And maybe if he stays back on it, maybe it's a ground ball to third base, shortstop. But we're going to try our best to keep the ball on the ground.
GA, same thing, hitters meetings. Royals coming into town. What was that like for you guys? Was there a breakdown of the staff as a whole or the nightly guy?
It was the nightly guy.
Okay.
So
and then the bullpen. How do you guys break down the bullpen?
The bullpen was, you know, I always wanted to know who the left-handers were in the bullpen. I didn't care about the right-handers. It didn't mean anything. So I always wanted to know who I was going to be facing in the 7th and 8th inning before we got to the 9th inning.
1-2 to Taylor Ward. Over 2 today. Strikeout and a ground out. Third base. He goes down again via the whiff.
All right, GA, you're coming to the plate right now. All right. Now, granted, it's a right-handed batter coming to plate, but you're coming to the plate right now against a good arm like this one now. What are you going to do? What are you looking for the first pitch?
Well, with him, with that he's throwing a 95-mile-an-hour sinker. I'm definitely not going up there trying to ambush him.
Yeah.
I want to see it. And you know he's going to throw it to you because he's been pitching well and striking guys out. So I'd want to get a gauge on what that ball looks like coming in as a right-handed hitter coming into me or the lefty going away from me.
So you're a guy that generally likes to go up there swinging first pitch. So you want to see a pitch.
Yes, and with the guys that have special stuff, I would consider him a pitcher that has a special pitch, and anything 95 and moving gets my attention. So I do want to see it.
So it changes when you're 0-1 as compared to 1-0.
Yes, it does.
Now, what part of the count did you feel better at? I mean, depending on, obviously you never want to be 0-2. You don't want to be that. But say you're 1-0, 0-1. Now it's a 1-1 count. What do you sit there looking for now from him?
I'm still looking fastball. I actually didn't believe this when I heard it. George Hendrick told me one day, he said, yeah, George Brett looks fastball every pitch. So years later, I run into George Brett at a golf tournament. And I said, you know what? Somebody told me something. I want to see if it's true. And I said, George, what did you look for every pitch? And he said fastball. And I was like, so from that point on, I looked fastball. There were some situations late in the game with a lefty pitching. I probably would sit in the middle, and especially if I knew the guy and his patterns. But I didn't want to miss that pitch, and it was the pitch that you actually drive in the most runs with because it's a pitch that you can pick up easier.
Mm-hmm. So even a 1-2 count, has that changed your thought process now?
Depending on who it is, I might be sitting in the middle. You know, guys that, like we talked about earlier, you can wait a little longer. Mm-hmm. I would do that. But the guys like this guy, I'm not going to give up that fastball. I'd rather you strike me out on a slider or something. I could stomach that. I can't stomach looking at a fastball down the middle of the plate.
How about a pitch by pitch? 5 batters, 5 strikeouts for the young Cuban, Ronald Bolaños.
Wow, I mean, his stuff is just tremendous. He's throwing hard inside and outside. And we talked about pitchers getting one side of the plate. It looks like he's having both sides of the plate right now.
Yeah, you're throwing 98. You could probably dictate both sides of the plate for
exactly.
He's a former Padre. 24 years old. And he is from a place in Cuba where you don't hear a lot of players coming from Santa Cruz del Norte in Cuba.
It's interesting you say he's a former Padre and stuff like this. He should be a former anything at this point in his career.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, you know what happens sometimes, GA, when you're rich in that farm system,
yeah.
You get talent because you're contending.
Yeah.
Like Ari says, at high, short, left field area, there's a shortstop. Hunter Alberto puts it down, so Bolaños pretty impressive, but the Angels do have the lead. 6-0 moving on to the 7th.
Mike Trout. People know he's one of the greatest players this game's ever seen.
Meet Mike Trout.
Can run.
He's
field,
watching
hit,
MLB Network.
He's one of the nicest people you're ever going to meet.
Because that's what baseball fans do.
And he's also got tremendous show hair with his hat off.
Hey, Harold, how do you prepare for a big show?
Well, I just try to stay positive. Take it one show at a time and treat it just like any other show.
How do you feel about the other analysts you work with?
It's a great group of guys. We're all on the same page. I'm just happy to be here.
What's your prediction for the season?
We'll see what happens. It all comes down to execution in the studio.
The pro player answers. He's still got it.
The analyst of MLB Tonight, answering baseball's toughest questions on MLB Network.
Carl's cam replay. Oh my, how did you hit that pitch, my friend?
Luck, I guess.
Our favorite Garrett Anderson moment, and the fans wanted to know, asking the question, and here it is, 10 RBI in one ball game.
Great night, man. It was a blur, and I got the last four on the last swing, and even our third base coach Dino Ebel was like, "Whoa, he's got 10." I mean, because it went from 6 to 10 in one swing.
By the way, that was the most popular answer in the Gooby Tuesdays I put out there for everyone said that 10 RBI. I mean, that's like a month.
Yeah, it is. It's a good month for some people, yeah.
Yes. This is Gooby Power Tuesday.
Oh, man.
Gooby's he's going to say, oh, can you come every Tuesday now?
I know. I got to get back to 500.
Yeah, just squeeze me in.
How about this? Another outstanding fan favorite moment right here, 2002.
I didn't have him set up here, Gooby, but I knew what pitch was coming. Because the first at bat, he threw me a curveball, and I smoked it to center, and David got double off at second. Next time up, I said, he's coming in. I knew he was coming in.
And you're talking about Livan Hernandez.
Yes.
And that does happen, too, because when you see a pitch like that, especially in speed in the center, like I go, I got to be able to pitch in to be able to get him out of the way. That's a good job by you there. Quick hands, by the way, to turn on that.
Veteran pitcher, too. Veteran pitcher, you know he's going to make an adjustment.
Yep.
By the way, was there any point where anybody was nervous because you guys had just come to this moment? And I'm not saying Game 7, all throughout the playoffs. Because the talk was, when you guys went to New York, oh, yeah, the little Angels, here it is. Yeah, they're going to be done here in 3 games in the Bronx. And, fly to Anaheim and lose there. But did you sense any tense moments from anybody?
No, in the Yankee series, we knew we could beat them. We'd always played well against them. I was more worried about the Twins because their game was like our game. They were about taking the extra base, bunting, great defense, great pitching. So I was worried about that series more than the Yankee series by any stretch.
Yeah, I remember that too because they were strong fundamentally. They were almost like your mirror team.
They didn't make mistakes, and they played really well in the Metrodome.
And I think also it kind of mirrors what you and Gooby were talking about and coming together as a group. I mean, Tom Kelly and then Ron Gardenhart, they have a lot of these guys come up winning through the minor leagues.
Yes, they were very rich farm system. A lot of those guys on that team were from their farm system, and they bought into their model over there, and they played hard every night. I mean, I personally didn't like playing against them because I knew what kind of game we were going to get into, but it was more of a total compliment to them how they approached to play the game.
Yeah, I look back at those teams in the farm system. They really did a great job with hitters.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Yes.
The Twins and the Angels. They just had hitter after hitter after hitter coming through the system. Like, wait a minute now. That's this. Why do they keep bringing these guys up? And every matter who they replace, or has somebody coming in another line drive. But they caught the baseball.
Yes, they did.
That's how you
defense.
win.
Yes, you have to. You can't give a team a second chance.
And the Yankees, obviously, whom everybody paid attention because of their nice run, but your numbers didn't lie. You went out there and punished some hitting.
We did.
That had to feel good beating them too, didn't it?
No, it was real. It would have been nice to beat them there, just to get the Bronx to go silent. But it was great to be in front of our fans here.
Nice.
And that was those clinching days of the Twins and the Yankees, where they kind of mirrored each other for me. Day game, big game. You know, Yankees had that big blowout game, and then the blowout game against the Twins. So it was fun. That was a great run.
I always say that when you're a part of a World Series team, these are your friends forever.
You're linked.
Yep.
No matter where. Like I came in 2 seasons ago and saw, I think Jose was here or something like that, and you just immediately go back. And I saw Benji. You just immediately go back to that time.
There's something about the 2002 team that we cannot forget. There was a brawl in spring training.
Yeah.
Yes.
I do
remember that?
Yes, I remember.
Aaron Seeley?
And we were mad at Aaron Seeley. He didn't tell us. This went back to the season before.
Let's reset here. There was a brawl with the 2002 team in spring training. When one of the newcomers, by the way, into the rotation, Seeley, has something against Ryan Klesko, and he did not hide it in spring training.
No, he didn't tell us. And so we find this out in the clubhouse afterwards, and we're backing him because he's our teammate. But we find out that the year before, Klesko posed on him, what they do naturally every hit nowadays. But he posed on him, and he took it to the next spring training, and he smoked him. And we're like, I'm in the outfield like, what just happened? You don't hit anybody in spring training. So he gets in the dugout, we get in the locker room, and he tells us, yeah, he posed on me last year, and I said the first time I seen him I was going to stick him. I'm like, no fair telling us.
Spring training game.
Spring training game.
You need spring training for a lot of things. Even if you're going to get in the brawl, you need to be prepared.
Out of that game, we talked about the 6-14 start, but out of that game, deflected off Heaney, but you guys started off with suspensions to begin the season because of that brawl. Think about that, Gooby.
So to add to that story, later on I run into Nevin and Klesko, and before that game, Klesko was asking Nevin, you think he's going to hit me?
Oh.
So he already knew.
And I remember that after that happened, and the next day, and in spring training, the media guys kind of filter their way in as they are being published. So we get the Padres media guide, and somebody says, you see that picture right there, Klesko? That's why he got hit. Yes. We're like, oh, okay.
That was a pretty big dude, too, by the way.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
Yeah. He could smoke a baseball, man. Joe Madden was there, obviously, as a bench coach, and Mike Soja as a manager. But, I mean, you know what? To me, that was my first year broadcasting, by the way, with the Angels. I'm like, you know what? I go, this is a gritty team right here. They're brawling in spring training.
I'm almost imagine Mickey Hatcher had to be out there right away.
I'm sure he was in there.
Dennis Cook, Gloss, Spezio, all of that whole melee. Oh, my goodness. But then, myself and our good friend departed, Rory Marcus and Terry Smith, we were all new to the broadcast team. But Gooby, every time one of those losses, you're like, oh my God, now they're 6-10, now they're 6-11. Oh my God, it's gonna be the broadcasters to pay the price here.
How did you guys turn that around then? How did you have that, especially after what happened the year before when you're 41 games out? How do you have it in you to turn it around, even though you had a good team? How did you do that?
I don't know. I can't recall. It's been so long. I don't know if there's anything that was a defining moment or. Soch had a few clubhouse meetings, and it wasn't like he was getting on us, but he was just trying to, uplift us. But I think what really happened that year was, and I was talking to Jose earlier about it, all our starters started all those games that year, so there was no injuries, and our hitting just picked up. We had a good group of guys that can do a lot of things. We're aggressive on the bases. It just didn't happen early in the season. And generally, it's easier to see the record early in the season, 6-14. Teams go through a 6-14 stretch throughout the season, but to start the season out with high hopes and new uniforms and whatnot, and it was kind of I guess it was somewhat of a letdown. I mean, we weren't worried about it at all.
Then you have Oakland going crazy there, but you still stay right on them.
Yeah, and they were a great team that year too. A lot of people talk about their streak. I think we were one game behind them during that whole streak. So
Yeah, that was incredible. What, they win 20 games in a row?
20 something like, yeah. 20.
And then you were right there.
Right there.
They
picked up one game.
That's incredible. That's a bad feeling when you're sitting there, hey, we got a 20-game winning streak. We pick up one game? How's that happening?
Angels win the wild card. Giants win the wild card, and they meet in the World Series.
The underdogs we were.
All the way through.
Yeah. And the funny thing about the World Series was what I took a lot of pride in is that they wanted the Giants to win. QVC had all the Giants stuff ready to go. Mm-hmm. They didn't anticipate us winning that series at all.
Spezio's home run. How crazy was that for you guys?
That was crazy.
I mean, I remember this stadium just going insane.
I have never seen this stadium have that kind of intensity at all. That whole playoff run, there was a ton of fan support, and I think it was the first year of those Thunder Sticks, and those things. I mean, generally you don't hear a lot on the field. Those things were rumbling through the stadium.
Here's another thing about that superb season: that the big acquisition for the Angels in the July 31st trading deadline. Do you remember what it was? It was Alex Ochoa was added to the roster for Jorge Fabregas.
Yes,
that was
I remember that now.
And I remember Bill Stolman just getting nailed on the press going, that's all you're going to do? You know what? It was enough.
But that was a purposeful trade. I mean, if you think about it, we didn't have anybody. There was no hole to fill. It was, to help Tim and Wright, that had a bad knee.
They got it done. Joe Madden sees enough with an outstanding job by Heaney. We'll be back.
Have new money goals? NerdWallet can help you find the credit card to make them happen. Want to earn enough points for a weekend of fancy camping? We have options for that. Maybe have a better credit card than your older sister. We have comparison tools for that. Or find a card that lets you donate your cash back to food banks. We have tips for that too. From low rates to the best rewards, easily discover and compare the smartest credit cards. For all your money questions, turn to the nerds. The Angels world ruling the power. 109 pitches, gutsy outing for Andrew Heaney. 6 2/3, 7 Ks, 2 walks. They came in consecutive form. They're back in the second inning to the first 2 batters, and that was it, Gooby. Outstanding job. And here's Steve Cishek.
75 strikes of the 109 pitches for Andrew Heaney. That's really impressive.
Now we're going to take DA to say, remember Chad Bradford?
Yes.
This is your Chad Bradford.
This is it.
What would you be thinking?
He was actually in the big leagues when I was playing. I think he was a Twin, wasn't he? I want to say he came up with the Twins, right?
Came up. Got to check
the name sounds familiar to me.
But Bradford, remember him?
Yes, and it's hard hitting the ball from down there. He was almost scraping the dirt with his hand.
Much lower, exactly.
Much lower. Everything was below the knees. And I'm trying to hit the ball in the air, and he's trying to keep me on the ground.
So a double by Hanser Alberto. He's at second base. 2 doubles for Alberto, the number 9 hitter. He drives in the Royals' first run. And here's Whit Merrifield, 2-0 count. He's 1 for 3 today. There's that breaking ball for a strike, 2-1.
When you go back to that inning, Andrew Heaney had that one ground ball up the middle. He was moving his glove out of the way every time because he knew the infielder was behind him. That time he had his glove out and hit off his glove. If he looks back, more than likely Fletch is right there for a ground ball out.
It's an inside on Merrifield. As we mentioned, Gooby, these Royals, you cannot take them lightly, especially here in this latter third of the ball game, because they do have the speed and the power. They drive the baseball. Angels trying to take this series here tonight.
That's what you don't want to do, especially later in the game, is get those free passes.
It's a walk to Merrifield. That'll bring up a powerful hitter in Carlos Santana.
I say, GA, you're on the bench though. You see that, you're down 6-1, but you got a man on second, then a walk here. All of a sudden, in a dugout, you starting to feel a little bit better, don't you?
You do, but in the pitching and his style too is not conducive to throwing a lot of strikes. Maybe they might be patient here and see if he gets himself in trouble.
Angels home runs from Shohei Ohtani, Stassi, Iglesias, and Upton tonight. A 5-run lead. Carlos Santana hits one way out there, but foul.
Strike one.
Yeah. That's what I'd always say the same thing. Hey, it's a strike. I'm ahead of him now. Yeah, it's a strike.
Check out this. Poof. We can call that a dry ball right there. A lot of rosin coming off of that one.
Not even Carlton Fisk can bring that one back into their territory.
First and second for Kansas City. Cechek, a couple of runners aboard.
Tell you what, you don't want Salvador Perez coming up in this inning. You do not want him coming up.
Not from what the Angels have seen from him all season long. There's Salvia, as you mentioned, Gooby, rightfully so, one of the faces of this franchise for the Royals.
Still, my opinion, top 3
along with yours.
No.
Come on now.
I'm saying hi to everybody. I'm saying hi to George Brett. I'm saying hi to Frank White. I'm saying hi to Salvador Perez.
And I'm saying hi to Royals Hall of Famer and yourself.
Oh, he thinks it hit him.
Santana.
That's definitely reviewable.
A pitch at Pedro Grifol. The bench coach wants to, yes, he says, we got to look at that.
He feels
Santana's convinced. He's taking off his protector. And the call has not been made officially, yes or no. And it looks like it is. So they're going to go out there and find out.
Inconclusive.
Ooh, I don't know. I mean, that pant leg is pretty loose, but I don't know. If it got the pant leg, maybe.
Seems like obviously with a slider, it's going to be more the back leg than the front leg. And might have been a wrinkle there.
I'm not so sure. He's not as convinced anymore.
And here it is, Gooby.
It means a little movement in the pant leg.
Right there.
It's enough. It's a good decision by the Royals and Heaney to take that shot, because you load the bases for the guy that's been swinging the bat so well against the Angels this year.
Key part of the game. So Garrett, in your memory bank, is there a play or two that you recall that you wish there had been a reviewable play back then for you?
Not off the top of my head. I can't really think of one right now.
No boundary play, home run, double, fair, foul, anything like that?
No, I can't think of anything that I could say that I would come to mind.
And it's confirmed, hit by pitch.
Salvador Perez will be swinging first pitch here.
They are loaded. Angels leading by 5. Again, Cechek. And with some action now in the Angels bullpen. He did go beat fouls. Left side.
He's usually aggressive, but in this spot he was anticipating, especially with the bases loaded. You know this, Garrett, when you have a pitcher, you want to throw a first pitch strike. Yes. Otherwise, that really changes the entire at bat.
You're exactly correct. Pitcher's the one that's in trouble right now.
Against the Angels, .579. 1 homer, 4 RBI. There's 2 outs. Got him ahead. 0-2. Lunging a little bit on that pitch.
He likes to run that fastball up, but that's the pitch he could put in play. I tried to get him to chase a breaking ball. What do you think, G?
I don't know. He scares me. The damage that he's done, he scares me. Yes. I know hitting's not that easy, but he scares me.
276 hitter.
I would say go with your strength.
Yep. That's got to be the slider. About 70% he throws.
Salvi, the catcher, knew it. He took it. That was a close pitch. And the fans want it.
Well, that's a little bit off the plate, though. That's a pretty good take for a guy that's very aggressive, swinging the bat.
Those 2 swings he just took, yes.
I'm thinking pull mode right here for Salvi. And there's 1 and 2. It's one of those guys that, as we were discussing last night and throughout series against Kansas City, he'll take his game calling into situations like this as a hitter.
Yeah, he's putting down break a ball, but that's his #1 pitch. So he's looking break a ball and going the other way. So it might be Fletch is going to have to make a play.
He was going to call a breaking ball. He saw a breaking ball and he took it. Angels trying to take this series, get closer to 500. The Royals started right at 500 tonight. Jam him. The Goose finds the bag. That's out number 3, and they're stranded. Tonight's 7th inning stretch is brought to you by Ford and the fully electric F-150 lighting. Let's take a look at it.
Nerds! Have new money goals? NerdWallet can help you find the mortgage lender to make them happen. Like getting a low rate on a downtown loft? We can help find the right lender. Or move out of the city since you're virtual now? We can find you loans for that. Want to refinance your home, free up cash, and redo your kitchen/home office? Yup, we've got tips for that too. Whether you refi or buy, easily discover and compare the smartest mortgage lenders. For all your money questions, turn to the nerds.
I was born to be the next big thing. No telling where I'm going, but I'll show you what I mean. Like, na 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 na. You see me moving, but they're never gonna catch me.
Ford Motor Company built Ford proud. The F-150 Lightning. Yes, Lightning Angels bats here tonight as the Royals present their 3rd pitcher of the night. After a nice job by the Cuban-born Ronald Bolaños. 2 innings with 5 strikeouts. And he replaced the starter Kris Bubic, who went 4 innings, allowed 6 runs, 4 home runs. Jake Brentz makes his way to the mound. He made his debut back on April 3rd. And he's been busy through 29 games, outstanding ERA in the low 1s.
Yeah, Garrett, I was going to ask you, does high velocity, did that ever, intimidate you as far as a hitter on there? Did it bother you at all?
No, it didn't bother me at all. It actually made it a little easier to hit because the ball got there quick, and I had really good hands, so I just let the velocity of the pitch dictate where it goes. I didn't try to do too much, and I think that's another reason too. I didn't have a long time to see it, so I didn't try to do too much. The slower pitchers, you have a tendency to get a little big on and try to do too much.
Yeah, I remember you talked about George Brady. He was always sitting and looking fastball. I remember if you threw something real slow, he got himself out because he was out in front because he was all about that, that Charlie Lau theory of swinging the bat. I seen him hit a lot of good fastballs from Rich Gossage to Mitch Williams.
Yeah.
Upper 90s, and yeah, he was on that.
Here, Fletch, he's right on that one, Bubic. Dumps it into left field for a base hit.
It's almost like Fletch balls has backspin on them.
Yeah.
Hits and checks like a golf ball.
Yes. Go back and look at Cishek Salvador Perez, and you guys can break it down for me, this pitch by pitch here.
Yeah, he's just getting out in front with the off-speed pitch, which is his strength. And at this point, he's an aggressive swinger. You got to keep going slow, but at some point you're going to have to make some kind of a change because he is tracking these sliders really well. And as you pointed out, he's a catcher, so he's probably thinking that. But the fastball in, couldn't do anything with it.
Dude, that's a one where you go. He overthought that one as a catcher, right?
He was looking back out. He was thinking, that's his number one pitch. He's not going away. If he's going to get beat, he's going to get beat by his number one pitch. And that was a gutsy pitch because you run that in. If you miss it all, you hit him. And all of a sudden now you have the tying run coming to the plate.
And I was thinking that along with the pitches is like we started talking about the fastball up. I was like, well, maybe he might hit him with it because he is out on the side and it's not a control pitch for him.
Hey, we were talking about scouting, right? And eyes on players. That's one group where anybody has been watching Cishek lately knows that fastball is playing well.
And he's running it upstairs too, which I'm fascinated by a guy who throws it at arm angle to be able to run that fastball upstairs.
Take me through scouts and the value they have for you, having guys watch players and evaluate players with their eyes and send that report, not necessarily based on results, but how much does that mean to you?
It means a lot, but sometimes we got reports and it didn't line up with what they saw. Because it goes back to you can see an accident, 3 people can see it, and everybody has a different point of view from it. So I was just always interested in velocity and what pitches they had. I can formulate my own opinion on the location of pitches and whatnot. I didn't really rely heavily on that. Like this person pitches in this location and this count. I don't want to know that. I just wanted to know his pitches, and I would have my own situation and dictate what I wanted to look for.
A lot of times, a different world now because they have information on everybody, even when they're in the minor leagues coming up. In a World Series, you even go back to Kirk Gibson knowing that Dennis Eckersley on a 3-2 count with throwaway backdoor slider. Was there anything like that in that scouting report when you're playing the Giants against, say, a Russ Ortiz or somebody else on the Giants staff that you were ready for and be able to have a good pass at it because you know those patterns they were having?
It was more, I would say, probably, I can't remember his name right now, but the one that Cizio hit the home run off of. We knew he was going to continue to keep throwing fastballs. He may once throw a slider, but so we were really heavy fastball with him.
It's amazing. So, Gooby, for you, scouting reports, graphics, charts. How about the scout's eye and tendencies, for example? Hey, this guy's got a bad hand, for example. We watched 3 games. If you bust him inside, he's not as strong as he was 2 months ago. Was that any valuable to you?
Oh, definitely. We even knew every once in a while, as a pitcher, you try to go out and have a quick conversation with a position player, which you know how you never like talking to pitchers. I know that. I know how you were. But every once in a while, I would try to sneak out and get some information from. Like I remember, going against Toronto because Fred McGriff is crushing me all the time. So I'm going to walk by George Bell. Hey, George, man, Griff really he owns me. And he goes, you know what? One thing you never try is you never try to throw up and in on him and kind of intimidate him. So then all of a sudden, boom, that went off my mind. I said, oh, wait, man, I have a shot now. So if you go up and in on him, then all of a sudden that outer part of the plate. So those little informations, whether it's from a scout or even getting information from a player, can be invaluable.
Hey, you know what? You guys break this down for me. Lefty, lefty. Pitcher, hitter. All right, here it is. Gooby, take over.
All right, G, you're up there. You're up here now. Lefty versus lefty. First pitch in the strike zone. Slider. All right, so he's ahead of you 1-0-1. What are you doing now?
I'm still looking fastball. I'm going to stay with my plan and know that slider that he threw is an extremely tough pitch to hit, so I still have to go with my strength, which is hitting a fastball.
And there it was.
And even more of a crossfire delivery for him, too. Does that mean you're looking out over the plate? Is that your best defense against him is outer part of the plate?
I'm actually looking more in because a guy like this, I didn't pick the ball up really well, so I would work from the inside the plate out. So it would enable me to lay off some pitches that were away because I didn't I wasn't comfortable at all with pitchers that threw from outside. Sidearm. One thing I did know that I had on my side was that they weren't going to pitch me inside. So the average pitcher wouldn't come inside on me. So I kind of had that in my back pocket.
So now you saw the 2 fastballs. What's GA thinking now? Different type of swing because you've seen it? Timed it?
Yeah, I'm going to keep my short swing, and I'm going to try to keep it in the middle of the ballpark because he's not throwing me anything inside.
Is that the case? Most times lefty coming out of the bullpen will very rarely pitch you inside.
No,
right?
they don't want to get beat that way. They want you to reach. They want you to roll over. They want you to pop something up on the left side of the field. They're really specialty pitchers that they are pretty good at throwing to one part of the plate, and that's what he's continuing to do this about.
Here it is, 3-1. GA. What are you setting, location or pitch?
Fastball. Out over. I'm going to try to keep it simple.
There's a balk. Called. And went over to second base is Fletch. And Brent is not convinced that he did anything.
The Shohei Ohtani effect. He said, I saw that swing early in the game against the lefty. That ball went 470. What am I doing?
He's a pitcher. Did we not tell you that he sees everything?
He leaned,
huh?
And he saw it. He saw it. He was leaning.
There's a pitcher in the batter's box calling what he saw.
No bounds for Ohtani.
How about that follow through? That is quite interesting, huh? It's like a recoil there, Gooby.
Yeah, he didn't cheat it. Yeah, he's not getting cheated.
Huh?
No.
Like it's got a sword. Love that. Check this out.
Yeah, he's feeling it.
Ooh. It got to be like it's a slider now. What do you think?
Yeah, slider here.
Oh,
he stayed hard.
Says, you know what? I'm going after him. That's a good take, though, by him.
That was a really good take.
And that's the thing. You've seen a lot, too. And we've seen that. He's been really patient at the plate.
Yeah. He has been taking his walks. That's for sure. On base for the 3rd time tonight is Shohei. Home run, double, strikeout, and now the walk. So you guys continue on here because the situation, even though Rendon's a right-handed batter, GA, I think lefty on the mound, Bubic first and second, speed on the bases. Now the matchup gets even more interesting between both of you.
Yeah, it does. I mean, you know, Rendon's sitting in the driver's seat right now. He just walked him. He doesn't want to walk another player. He definitely wants him to put the ball in play, maybe crossfire a fastball into him to try to induce a double play.
I knew he was going to go up there hacking. He was thinking the same thing you were. Now, with speed on the bases with a left-handed pitcher, is it easier for you guys to steal? Especially now because you can go way off if you're Shohei Ohtani as a trail runner. Can you get a bigger lead here and maybe go?
I wasn't a stolen base guy.
I'll give you some credit for the speed.
But me being a trail runner for sure, you definitely get as far off as the first baseman will allow you.
It's another one. Yes.
That was a rocket, too. The fan. Man, you're bringing out everything good today, GA. Fans making plays, home runs.
Tell you, these fans bring their gloves and they are ready to make plays. Tip my hat.
Tough night so far for Rendon. Can turn it around here with a good at bat.
Left side, tough hop, good job by Gutierrez. Merrifield, double play. Brent's got it done with his changeup. As the Angels moving on to the 8th, leading by 5.
happen with a simple tell your story. Get people excited. To get connected, to share, and sell anywhere, and start making a different future. Start different at GoDaddy.com.
Claire, how do you know how much bling to wear before each game?
What bling you wear during the game is a very important decision. You want to wear enough so you look good, but not too much.
At 6:30 p.m., the first 14,000 fans will receive a Trout 300 home runs bobblehead courtesy of Memorial Care. For more on this season's giveaways, visit angels.com/promotions. And talking about Hall of Famers, let's do a little flashback. Oh, wear that red, GA, proudly. We're so proud of you.
A good day. It was a good day.
And in front of your favorite team, your opposing team, the Yankees.
The Yankees, yeah.
Joined a very special class. Right on the field.
It's 5 years already. Wow.
5 years?
16.
Wow.
James Hoyt takes over for Steve Cishek. Defensively for the Angels, some changes as Jared Walsh takes over in this latter part of the game. Angels up by 5 here in the 8th. Hoyt delivers a breaking ball inside. Andrew Heaney, his line officially 6 2/3. 6 hits, 1 run was earned, 2 walks. And for Heaney, could be 7 strikeouts, and he went as long as 109 pitches tonight.
You know, like a couple of those fastballs just above the strike zone, getting his swing and miss. He's had a lot of strikeouts with his fastball this year. And usually you're thinking just the opposite. That's got to be really impressive for you, GA, to be in the Angels Hall of Fame. When you think about all the great players over the years that put on that Angel uniform, that's got to be something you reflect on and think, I'm pretty lucky to be able to be part of that Hall of Fame class.
No, truly, for sure. It is a true blessing. I mean, just to be able to, all the things, you know, that you have to go through to even have a chance of being part of something like that. You have to stay healthy. You have to, you know, be on the field every day. You have to be excellent for a long period of time. So I am thankful for the, you know, all the things that I was blessed with. So it is, you know, kind of mind-boggling a little bit. But I totally am very thankful that, you know, a group of people said, hey, you belong in here with these people.
Swing and a man's good start for Hoyt as Dozier goes down. Bubic, as we celebrate and talk about blessings, somehow we wish our good friend Adam Chasko a happy birthday. He does such a fantastic job here. Angels media relations and beyond, and communications, and proud Papa now, Adam Chasko. Thank for everything that you do, but for sure, a happy birthday, my friend.
He's done so much for us in these difficult times to be able to stay in contact with the players as much as possible from a distance. All the Zoom calls and everything else. He's been fantastic with us. Happy birthday.
Calming influence, that voice of reason. He's had some great mentors throughout that department, but does a tremendous job. It's been quite challenging with him, obviously with the players, the access, and everything that's been happening. Tony Watson getting ready in that bullpen. Hoyt facing Jorge Soler. Hoyt called out by the Angels after they designated Hunter Strickland. So the Halos showing the power. Shohei Ohtani, very first inning, home run number 17. Max Stassi in the 3rd inning, number 4, also like Shohei's a 2-run homer. And solo shots from Jose Iglesias, his 5th, and from Justin Upton, already his 14th.
GA, was any, we mentioned how tough pitcher. Was there any pitcher you were like sending a limo over there to make sure he was going to be facing you at any point? I know it's difficult to say that now, but now that you've been away from the game enough, was there one pitcher you just love to face?
Oh, Andy Pettit and Jamie Moyer. I'd send a limo for both of them. And they were different type of pitchers. Jamie was a very soft thrower, and Andy Pettit had a really good cutter, but neither one of them could run the ball in on me. Everything was always running into a right-handed hitter, so I would stand on top of the plate and just turn and burn. And you know, it's just, I think I heard someone tell me for 17 years I hit over 400 off of Pettit.
Wow.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of arguments out there saying he's a Hall of Famer. So
yeah,
wow, that's impressive.
So yeah, I really, we came up the same year, and I just always I saw the ball well out of his hand.
One thing I remember you telling me about facing Jamie Moore, that you would spread out, get on top of the plate, but also you showed me that you would open up your front toe a little bit against him.
Yeah, I just, with him, it was, he didn't have a lot of movement on his pitches, and, you know, he was throwing 82, 83 at the time. So I would literally stand over top of the plate, and I would open up my front foot a little bit, and all I did try to do, I never tried to hit the ball to left field. It was always, I was trying to hit a home run off of him.
Really?
Because everything fell into that spot. So even if I didn't hit a home run, it's a line drive to right field or whatever.
So the open front foot would still clear your hips a little bit earlier?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Just sit and wait.
Over the mound, Iglesias. Easy inning, 1, 2, 3 for James Hoyt as we move on to the bottom of the eighth. But GA, it's all about you. This player takeover has been a ton of fun. Sweet swinging, grace, passion, and wins.
The guys are psyched up for the next Intentional Talk. Whoa, let's go! Now that's excitement. Kevin Millar and Steven Nelson. Intentional Talk, only on MLB Network.
Hey Al, I'm just wondering, during the demo on MLB Tonight, what was that meatball you threw?
Meatball? I think you're misunderstanding. That was a hitting demonstration, and that's what I was supposed to do.
Oh, he go home, baby. Right. I think that ball's still traveling. Any farther, and you need a flight plan for it.
Next question.
The analyst of MLB Tonight, answering baseball's toughest questions, only on MLB Network.
The game today, a change is going to come. Home run ball against lefty Shohei Ohtani, 470. You still have a smile on your face on that swing there. Yeah, Max Stassi entertaining us too with a 2-run home run. The Iglesias getting Iggy with it. Went yard. And then Justin Uptown Funk going yard, 14. Season, 4 home runs, a change of coming in as far as the home run ball today. 4 of them tonight against the Royals. Shohei Ohtani, this is kind of chilling.
Oh, with his buddy Fletch. Stealthy Fletch.
Yeah.
So it was a great story. 2 very good friends. Here's Josh Stallmont, who is a local product and a great story. He went to La Habra High School and APU, Azusa Pacific University. He's gone through a lot in terms of injuries, but Bubic is still a very good arm. One of those guys that we got to see in spring training, and we're quite impressed with that.
Yeah, right over the top of his fastball. That usually means you're going to have a pretty good curveball from that position. Arm angle.
Got plenty of fans here tonight, 27 years old. And a story of perseverance. I mean, he's gone through so many things and questions about his arm, even his built. Something to be said about just having that mentality of also attacking and being diligent with your rehabs too, Goob.
And we all know that if you've been injuries, it's tough. There's that mindset of, you know what, do I want to keep trying to do this? So I keep trying to rehab. It's tedious, it's strenuous, and really it plays into your mind along with the physical part.
You start thinking, am I ever going to be healthy again?
Yeah.
He brings in pretty good numbers, 23 and 2/3 innings, 26 strikeouts. High on the walks, 13 of them. A very good ERA, 2.66 in 22 games. Right over the top again, 93 missing down on Stassi's seen the ball quite well. A couple strikeouts today, but in between that, he's got a 2-run homer now with 4 home runs for the Angels cleanup hitter here tonight.
First time he's ever hit cleanup. And he cleaned up the bases with that 2-run home run.
Joel Madden just pushing the right buttons. Hit hard. Sliding on the other side. One hopper not handled cleanly by Santana. Great play up the middle by Merrifield. And still says, my fault for not making a better throw. Tremendous effort.
A lot of range there. He's played the outfield. You're off the bat, that's a good chance. You're in the outfield as a second baseman. It's a long throw for a shortstop.
It's a little different throw.
Yeah. Gary, by the way, how many balls would you have rolling to the short right field, second base, shortstop position in your career? Have the ship been on?
A lot of them.
It's like you used to hit that ball, go automatic base hit between first and second.
Oh, for sure.
Those days are gone.
Yeah, those days are gone. But, you know, you make an adjustment. You force them to swing their defense back around.
Like Reggie Jackson told me one time, if they had put a shift on me, I would have hit 330. That's Reggie talk.
Or hit over the shift, he probably would have said too.
Yeah, so you know that.
As we talk about Angels greats, Reggie Jackson. Boy, talk about creating a tornado at home plate with every swing. A lot of wind.
He could have been a football player too. Can you imagine trying to tackle him?
Yeah.
Here's Walsh hitting for the first time tonight. He replaces Phil Gosselin, who went 1 for 3 tonight. Angels up by 5 as the breaking ball drops right in there against Walsh.
This is a tough at bat for an everyday hit player.
Why is that?
You're sitting there looking at the score 6-1, and you're talking about go grab a bat. What?
Come play some defense.
You think, yeah, I can go play defense. Let Gosselin have that at bat, and I'll go play defense for him.
Yeah, because your energy level and your focus has got to be difficult.
Yeah, it's a day off for you. You don't have any adrenaline running whatsoever.
Yeah, you know what I like? That's spoken from the heart, man. That's exactly what happens in that dugout, right?
Yeah, for sure. That's Walsh. You really want this at bat right now?
Yeah, you sit back and go, yeah, I'm cool. Let Goose go up there, swing the bat.
Yeah, let me go find my glove.
You know, on the other side, he can relate to this too. Mike Trout, who is doing his rehabs as the game progresses, likes to watch the broadcast, obviously, but it is so hard for somebody like him to be watching the game from the dugout, to go through rehab. But apparently things are going better. But what was that like for you, being an everyday player? All of a sudden, you're shut down.
Yeah, I had a couple DL stints. The one DL, the first one I went on for the arthritic condition, I wasn't even at the park, so that wasn't as hard for me. But the last time when I tore a muscle in my hip and coming back and waiting, it drives you up a wall, and you do feel like you're not part of the team, you know, because the game goes on. It's not going to stop for you, and you know, you just lend back to just being a good teammate and, you know, showing support for your team.
2-2 on Walsh. Ward on deck. There's a breaking ball. Any advice he would have for Mike Trout because of the calf injury coming back?
I've had that injury.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I'm asking you.
I had that
I know
injury.
it's tough.
And at that time, I was an old man at the time, so it was a little harder to come back. But that particular year, being as stubborn as I am, I came back too soon. And I had the thought in the back of my mind that it was going to tear again that year, and it didn't. But I knew it wasn't 100% healed, and it affected my play in the outfield a little bit, because I was a little tentative on things. My suggestion for that particular injury, you have to be full out ready to go back. You can't even think about coming back at 95% because it'll come back again.
Well, there it is, Trouty. Somebody like him, his legs are so important, explosiveness is so important, first step. And even, you know, coming out of the batter's box, stepping, striding, pushing, all those things could be effective.
Yeah, and he knows how important he is to the team, how important he is to the sport. And you know, everyone's saying, well, when are you coming back? It was asked yesterday, when are you coming back? When are you coming back? And I think that's great advice. You're basically telling him right now, GA, don't come back until you're 100%, or at least the closest you're going to be to 100%.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, his whole game is speed, and he's a strong guy. So Why would you risk? What's the difference of coming back 7 more days? Why, in the light of how long a season is, 7 more days, it'll give you the rest of the season.
And by the way, the Angels 10-10 record since Trout went down with that calf injury. And boy, we miss number 27 because as we talk about how special Shohei is.
How about those two names next to each other? Bo Jackson and Mike Trout.
Who wins which race?
I got Bo got him. Bo was a deer.
You would deer on him.
Oh, incredible.
The first time I met Bo in spring training, I was in camp. My first big league camp was his last year playing. And I walk in the locker room, and he's in there, and all I could think of is, like, who would want to try to tackle this human being?
No.
I didn't realize he was that tall.
Yeah.
He's 6'3".
Yep.
And people ask me, I'm like, yeah, he's just proportional. Best athlete put together that I've ever seen.
I know in Kansas City, they would have people ask, who does Mike Trout remind you the most? From a playing standpoint, I said it was Bo Jackson and George Brett. Bo Jackson for the wow factor, the athleticism, and the baseball side with George Brett. And I put those two together, and that's Mike Trout. But Bo, wow. I went to a bunch of those football games in the sidelines, and those guys were even afraid of him, too. I'm thinking, I am. I can't imagine football players, but they were afraid, too.
Oh, my gosh. Just a generational player. And a lot of people just didn't get a chance to see it because, the internet, what it is now. You can see highlights of any player. And there's very little of him on the internet.
Now, how about a quick word from Kia?
Experience Kia's tough and ready lineup of all-wheel drive SUVs.
There's Josh Stallmutt with strikeout against Walsh after allowing the infield single to Stassi.
By the way, that home run by Shohei, 470. I think Bo's first home run was against Mike Moore. That went like 475. I still think it was further because it almost made it out of the stadium. It was before the fountains in left center.
Yeah.
It was up at that very top of the grass, I'm thinking. And that baseball was hit so hard it just checked. Most of the baseballs would trickle down. It just stayed there the whole night. I mean, and Mike Moore, the pitcher's probably going, come on, can that roll down at some point so I don't have to look back up there and see it?
I mean, speaking of Bo, he bought me my first 2 suits when I came up.
Really?
Yeah, he took me out in Arlington, Texas.
He's the best. He was the best. He still is.
Yeah.
Well, I know that. Tell me the story. How did it all go down? Did he say, "Hey, GA, I think it's time"?
It was very little speaking. He was like, "Hey, Rook, meet me downstairs in the morning."
Ooh.
At 10 o'clock. And I was there at 9:30.
I was going to
say. So we go to this clothing store, suit store in Arlington, and he buys me 3 suits. And then the only thing he said afterwards, like, you know what? When you make your first $1 million, I want my money back. And to this day, if I see Bo, he will say that. He's like, hey, where's my money? Where's my money?
There's some money right there. Another home run for the Halos. This time it's Taylor Ward. And that makes it 8-1 here in the 8th inning. After an 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts, number 3 checks in. In front of mom and dad, by the way, Gooby, Joe and Samantha.
Yeah, that's 6th home run now. Getting a chance to see him yesterday on the field, you look how strong he is. I mean, that baseball is jumping off his back. That's a long way.
Yeah.
You know, and GA, you wore this uniform with such pride. You're involved in so many of the categories among the leaders. But to see what Mike Trout has done, I mean, are you ever in awe or have become a fan of going, that's just not that easy to do?
No,
to do it for, I mean, 11 years.
Yeah, I'm a fan, and I know what it takes to do what he's doing and how easy he makes it look, and it's not easy by any stretch of the imagination to be able to consistently do it over and over. I mean, he can be in the top 5 in MVP every year, you know, of his career up until this point. I know this year he's hurt, but that's just the type of player he is. When people ask me about him, I'm like, he's a special player. I would definitely pay to go watch him play.
And on top of that, he's a humble kid, great family footing, and how influential he's been around baseball.
Yeah.
By playing the game with joy.
And I can imagine how many directions he gets pulled for the type of person he is. People don't even see that part. Just the day-to-day when fans were on the field, hey, Mike, can you come sign this? And they pull him over here. And I've heard nothing but I've always heard said he's just very gracious, and he does it. And that's tough to do. And this, you know, when you're being pulled different directions, because you do want your time before the game, and he's been very gracious about that.
And you look around baseball right now, GA, there is some of the most incredible young talent, from Tatis Jr. to Vlad Guerrero Jr.
Yeah.
So all these incredible players. Acuna Jr.
I see Vlad Jr. on the field, and I'm like, all I remember is this little kid running, a little round kid running around, and now he's hitting bombs all over the place. It's awesome to see. I mean, and former players, sons on that Toronto team, Biggio and the other kid that plays shortstop.
Bichette.
Yeah, Bichette's kid. I mean, it's awesome to see that turnover.
You know, as he talking about Vladdy Jr., in whom we both saw, obviously carrying around the big bat and dragging him to the dugout. What was it like when Vladdy arrived here to the organization? What was that presence like? What was the clubhouse like? And seeing, we've seen this guy, he's a super freak. Now he's coming here. What did that do to you guys mentally?
Well, the first thing I noticed was generally when a superstar of his caliber comes to a team, there's all this buzz and whatnot. But you know as well as I know, Vladdy's an unassuming superstar. So there was no, bravado with him. All he wanted to do was be one of the guys. Even though he's this great player, he wanted to be one of us and just go out and play. So it didn't blow up into anything other than what he did on the field, and everybody got to see his talent.
About this list here, Gooby. Wow. Batting average, Angels history, Vladdy between 04 and 09. Rod, Trouty, and GA.
Hey, I snuck in there.
Way to go. That's pretty impressive company,
it is.
though.
Lagares the other way, near the pole. Dozier extends. Heaney makes a catch.
Wow.
Nice defense out there. But the Angels add a couple more. This is all about GA and the power. This time, Taylor Ward flat through the zone. We're moving on to the ninth, leading by 7.
Mike Trout. People know he's one of the greatest players this game's ever seen.
Meet Mike Trout.
Can run.
He's watching MLB Network.
He's one of the nicest people you're ever going to meet.
Because that's what baseball fans do.
And he's also got tremendous show hair with his hat off.
It is gone! Every time he steps up to the plate, goes into his windup, or runs one down. He caught it! Oh, you won't see a better one than that! He competes not only against the other team, but against the toughest adversary, himself. MLB Tonight, where the best outdo their best on MLB Network.
Here's something very cool you got to have. You got to download the MLB app to get in-game video highlights, live pitch-by-pitch, breaking news, player updates, stat leaderboards, and more for your Angels. Great view out there from left field. Seems the ball carries so well as the Angels also introduce their 4th pitcher of the night. That is Alex Claudio. Andrew Heaney recapping his outing tonight. 6 2/3, 6 hits, 1 run earned, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. Heaney threw 109 pitches. Steve Cishek went 1/3 of an inning. James Hoyt a scoreless inning, and now Claudio the lefty. He'll face here in the 9th, the bottom part of the Royals lineup, Michael Taylor, Edward Olivares, and Hanser Alberto. So Shohei Ohtani got things going for the Halos with a long home run, 2-run homer, 470 feet back in the 1st inning. Claudio trying to find some things to go right here, GA, and Another lefty that you didn't see a lot of these guys coming out of the bullpen, soft contact type guys. Guys that you go out there and chase a little bit to, make him be effective. So what were you looking for from a guy like Alex Claudio?
Well, I learned I was struggling with sidearm left-handers one year, and Bud Black, left-handed pitcher, was our pitching coach. And I said, hey, buddy, I need some help with this. He said, Garrett, pitchers that throw from the side like that, they generally will throw you 4 balls before they throw you 3 strikes. So
really?
That was my approach. He'll throw you 4 before he throws you 3. I would go up there and I would take the first 2 pitches no matter what, especially when nobody was on base. I'm taking the first 2 pitches no matter what. I would find myself 2-0, 1-1. I've never found myself 0-2. And then I would just build on the at-bat from there.
Some savvy words from Buddy Black, but Buddy had to learn that from pitching, but also from teaching pitching to guys like that.
Yeah, it's very difficult to repeat your delivery from the side.
And there's a walk to Taylor leading up the 9th here. Again, the Angels with the home runs today. Ohtani, Stassi, Iglesias, Upton, and Ward.
And what it did for me too, Jose, is it just took the stress out of the at-bat. Like I wasn't, the first 2 pitches, I wasn't even in it. I was just tracking the ball. There wasn't no imminent of I'm going to get a strike thrown to me here. Confidently, I was thinking I wasn't going to get a strike thrown more times than not. So it actually helped me with the at-bat.
Well, you're talking like a guy that we talk about Anthony Rendon about this a lot. Like you had a slow heartbeat when it came down to situations like that, because if you're always amped up, you're always looking. I know that Buddy gave me this advice, but oh no, if I see something, I got to go out there and hack.
Yeah, I listened to his advice, and I did that through my whole career. I'd always pick a person's brain and somebody that could help me.
Iglesias, nice leap. He robs Olivares. That's out number 1 here in the 9th. Nicely timed here.
Yeah, very nicely timed. I don't know where the guy at first was going. He didn't know where to go with a line drive on the infield.
As Bobby Rich told us, on a line drive, you get back.
Yep, you get back. You got nowhere to go. If it goes through, you have the next base.
Let's bring up Hunter Alberto. Left side, Rendon, Fletch, and that'll do it. How about that to finish off the ball game? 5-4-3 double play, and Claudio leadoff walk gets it done for Andrew Heaney. Heaney with his 4th win of the season. The Angels win this one 8-1. And our Toyota player of the game is Shohei Ohtani, GA. You saw it on display. We talked about him. He did not disappoint you.
No, he didn't at all, and he's been doing it all season for the Halos. And it was nice to be able to witness it in person.
That went 111.7 miles an hour, 470 feet. Shohei, he didn't stop there. Also had the double, had a walk, continues to get on base. Oh boy, so impressive. Shohei Ohtani all the way around. And by the way, he's starting here on the weekend at Arizona. It's almost hard to say that.
Yeah, good for him, though. I mean, it's awesome to see something like that. It's just not something you see every day, and the fans should enjoy it.
By the way, talk about enjoying. This was a marvelous time with you, man.
Yeah, I had a great time.
Player takeover. And, well, let's send it now to Mark Gubiza, who's standing by with one of the heroes, Jose Iglesias. How about a magic?
Thanks, fellas. Jose, what about your swing tonight? How did you feel comfortable in the batter's box?
I'm getting better each and every day. I think the team did a great job tonight. And, result was there. We got a W.
So 5 home runs today by the fellows against a lefty in there to start the game. How did you guys feel swinging the bat?
Pretty good tonight. The guys swinging the bat really well. We got to turn the page and go back tomorrow.
You have always a fun time with Shohei Ohtani. What about that home run he hit tonight?
I love Shohei. He's a great guy, and he's a big part of this team.
Andrew Heaney threw the ball very well. The defense behind him was there for him. How important was it for your starters to get it going like you are right now?
Heaney did a great job for us, keep us in the game, throw the ball really well. Very good win tonight as a team.
I know you're fantastic with the glove. How are you feeling with the glove right now, getting better and better?
I feel great. We got to take one day at a time, that's all.
I appreciate it, Jose. Great job, man. I finally got to say hi to you, Iggy. Way to go, man. Jose, GA. Back up to you guys, man. Iggy, getting Iggy with it.
Oh, also getting a little Gooby, too. Love that. Thanks a lot, Gooby. Nice job with Jose Iglesias back in the booth. Jose Mota and Garrett Anderson. We talk about how much fun we had tonight. I mean, watching the game from here, the perspective you get from approaches, from the batter's box, from the guys on the mound, and slowing the game down. I know it looks a lot easier from up here, but overall, what you saw tonight with the home runs, what is that a product of, you see?
It's just the work that they're putting in and playing every day. It's just, like you said, it's a tough game. It is really easy sitting up here. Fortunately, I know how hard it is to play, so I always have to catch myself and always give the benefit of the doubt to the player because it is a tough game to play. But, yes, it's nice to see when they come out and just everybody contributed tonight.
Okay, so the power came from so many different directions. When that happens for a team like the Angels, how big is that, too?
It is. It takes a relief off of the other player. Now, like an Ohtani doesn't think he has to go up there and do something. Now he knows that other people in the lineup are going to do something, chip in as well.
Garrett, outstanding job all the way around. Hope we can do this again, my friend, because you're a class act. Yes, and stay tuned because Patrick O'Neill, ourselves, and Gooby break it all down. Angels live post game is coming right up. Don't go anywhere because there's a lot to celebrate here tonight.